Hello, welcome to WGON live traffic report for 5/9/20. I'm Eric,
And I'm Matt.
and to Matt's right is Mr. Daniel Lowery. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on, gentlemen.
Pleasure to have you.
We're going to get into some to Daniel's collectibles later on in Collector's Corner, but thought we'd go ahead and bring Daniel on and let him cruise the news categories this week. So the first topic up is Living Dead Weekend made an announcement regarding the June convention. And Matt,
Yeah, so as we've been talking about over the last couple of live traffic reports, we were waiting on this announcement more or less, even though we didn't want to believe it. Kevin did announce on the 2nd that they are postponing June's Living Dead Weekend event. No dates have been set, so all the logistical stuff going on behind the scenes, Kevin is working on. Obviously, a lot of this has to do with when the state of Pennsylvania will open up to allow such gatherings to happen. If that's in the fall, fantastic. I think we'll have a jam-packed Living Dead weekend. But a lot of this all depends on how well things are going. As Kevin stated, don't send questions. Don't overburden them. They're scrambling to get everything settled from what was to happen, so that they have time and the concentration efforts to regroup and hopefully plan something for October. As of now, he doesn't have dates or a venue. Obviously, he will keep us in the loop whenever there are any updates. Obviously, the safety of everybody traveling from abroad and across state lines is paramount. We don't want to, add to a already out of control pandemic. We want to make sure everyone's safe and whatnot. So at this point, Living Dead Weekend June is officially postponed or canceled or being rescheduled, however you want to say it. So for all of those guys and folks we were looking forward to seeing in June, sorry. We do hope to see you either in October or whenever the next date is.
Yeah, and it's I was happy to hear that there is intent to keep the mall venue as well as the same themes, which was the Return of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead 1985 theme, which is fun. It was cool. I like the artwork and everything, the promotional materials they had for that, and hopefully that can stay together. And I don't know. Obviously, none of us are going to be going to Pittsburgh in June, but Daniel, how are you on that? You planning on just going whenever the new date is announced?
Oh yeah, especially with this day reunion I've been wanting to get in real bad. You guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I just really sucks for our friends overseas, and everybody really needs to travel. I think it's a smart move too. I've got a lot of friends who this pandemic is actually helping them financially, and there's a lot of people I know that is not helping them financially at all too. So I'm glad that they're considering all that and not just trying to jump into it. Because I mean, if we're going to be there, we want to be able to do it right. And I'm just curious what kind of new rules and regulations this is. I don't know. This is all interesting. Just cons across the board. I've been seeing these virtual conventions pop up. I saw that Terry Alexander was doing one from Day of the Dead, and you could have like a Zoom meeting with him like this. So people are getting creative. So I'll say that much about it. But we'll be there.
Now,
I will.
You seem pretty excited about Day of the Dead. Who are you after from that film?
I've only got Lowery from the main guys. So I need Terry and Dermot. I need all those guys, and
everybody.
Yeah. Too, I've got so many I've got a lot of little Day of the Dead pieces signed by bits and pieces of people here and there, and I need certain other people just to fill in the gaps. I couldn't spend all my money to get one person to sign 6 things, so I had to pick and choose which things I wanted to get autographed.
Yeah, I'll probably will add some Day people. I've got a laser disc that I'm working on, assuming they have people that I need. I'm really more just about, honestly the hanging out than anything. I mean, it's pretty much the venue of the mall, gives us an excuse to just linger around in there for hours on end and not get run off. And it's just great to spend that much time in there, and everybody kind of congregates. Whereas the Evans City event, it's a little more, it's kind of spread out all around downtown, really. And there's, you kind of find, whereas the mall, there's all sorts of places just you can go grab something to eat or hang out on a bench somewhere. So yeah, I'm really excited about the mall venue, and hopefully they can manage to keep it there. And unless there's some kind of oddball order in place that won't allow people in there, which is unfortunately a distinct possibility. I don't know how they handle that one. So let's see. Next on the agenda, we had it may have just been announced yesterday. Trick or Treat Studios unveiled this bust of the airport zombie. Did you guys see that?
It's,
I
it's sick. I saw a live video that Trick or Treat Studios did. I think they announced that at Toy Fair in New York, and they had that.
Oh, that's right. You've seen this already.
And all that. Yeah. I saw that when they did a live video of it.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see the price tag on it now. That's what I was really curious about.
Yeah, I was excited for it till I saw the price tag.
Yeah. I was wishing there was more. They got a lot of stuff from Zombie and some of the other Fulci movies, but I was hoping to get more George stuff.
Yeah, it's a great looking collection. I think they did a great job. But I mean, there's 7 statues, and at a $84.99 price tag per statue, that's even for one, I really can't justify it.
And it's like this tall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's super detailed. I'm sure it's got a little bit of weight to it, considering the size. Yeah, so I mean, it's 5? Yeah, so we got Zombie Holocaust, Zombie Dawn, House by the Cemetery, and we have 2 Zombie. We have 2 from Zombie.
2 Zombie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got the guy from the boat at the beginning.
Yeah, the Uncle Reach.
Phenomenal sculpts, and I want to say I've seen these. It says at the bottom of the art there, sculpted by William Paquette. I've seen these floating around for a few years. I'm guessing they just picked up the artist's license to make a mold and do a larger run with these. Because I've seen similar. I don't know about. Have you seen these around before? This doesn't feel like the first time I've ever seen these busts.
I have a feeling someone has done some similar.
I follow a guy named Tony Gibson, and it looks a lot like his stuff, but I don't think he's the artist. If check his stuff out, if y'all want somebody, I'll do plugs throughout this whole podcast just on fan art.
Do it. That's what we're here for. And I'll say honestly, I mean, $84.95. I mean, that's by no means cheap. But if I were picking up one of these from an individual artist, I wouldn't expect to get it for any less than $200 painted. Maybe low hundreds unpainted. So 84 is not bad, but you're right. I'm no way in hell I'm picking up all 5.
Right. Well, I mean, $84.95. Consider this is a mass-produced item. When you're getting it from an artist, they might only had. Yeah, they may have only pulled 3 or 4 of those from the mold, and and that's where you're getting the low hundreds. I'm sure there's going to be a few thousand of these, 4,000 to 5,000 range, maybe. Again, I'm not downplaying the artistic, merits of this, because they are fantastic. But for $84.99, I'm going to have to do a hard pass, unfortunately, unless someone were either to gift it to me or I was to get one at a substantial discount. And I hate saying that. It doesn't make, I kind of feel like I'm sounding cheap, but for $84.99, I can buy a hell of a lot of Blu-rays or, some other stuff that I'm looking forward, to get.
How you feeling, Lowery, on the $84.99?
I want it, but that's a lot. It's not something I'm dying. I'm not dying to have it. I want to see other zombies.
True.
And we've said that before. I've said that before.
I've got 60 airport zombies and 60, flyboys, and I want to see Nurse Zombie, and I'd like to see some different stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. If this were, fat gray suit zombie. I'm probably reaching for the Krispies right now, but yeah, but I love the way it looks. I mean, it looked really sharp on the shelf. I can't, and then I mean, honestly, the two from Zombie are tempting as well. They're very, very well done.
Yeah,
I love the base.
I like they got little Easter eggs on the back of them. If you look, I think on the back of the Airport Zombie, it's got like a Iron City logo and a J.C. Penney's logo. I think on the back of the sculpt.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find $85 laying around and decide I don't know what to do with it. And, that'll be
like
the
that
day.
doesn't happen often. And you mentioned that, and there's an extra probably $20-$25 in shipping on top of these as well. It'd be better to pick one of these up at a con if you could.
Yeah, if I found one out in the wild at a show for $84, and if shipping was over $15 or more, I could probably justify it, especially if there was not a lot at the show that I had bought anyway, and I had a little bit of money burning hole in my pocket. But other than that, yeah, probably. Unfortunately,
that happens more than you think, though. I mean, we were saying that like it never happens. I've always got like $65 on a convention Sunday that for whatever reason didn't get spent.
Yeah, yeah. I build in a little bit of I'm going to spend this right now, the stuff I need to buy, and then the reserves for I'm going to look at it Friday and wait to buy it on Sunday and decide whether how bad I really want it.
You know what's bad about that, though, is I did that once with Tony Buba. I mean, I'm glad I did it now because I ended up picking up all his films a month ago. But I was like, oh, I'm going to come back to your table on Sunday and buy all of these. And then I show up with like, $50 and he's sold them all. So
I don't understand why that is a thing. It's like if you're going to spend it on Sunday, you spend the next 30 hours or so like, I hope he has it. I hope he has it. Just go freaking buy it. I do the same thing. And it has bit me in the ass more times than I'm willing to admit. Because that's what I do when I go to Monster Mania. Diabolic DVD is there. And they're in the main hallway. And I have to walk past it to my friend's table where we vend. And they're usually there pretty early. So I stop by and I slow the cart down and I go, I'm looking. I'm like, all right, I don't see anything yet. Walk by. And then I walk back and I'm like, ooh, there's something. Okay, he's got 4 of them. Okay, so it's like I'm already strategizing because I know certain tables are going to sell out of their stuff, but yeah, the one-off stuff like that you see, it's like, buy it now or too much money.
I don't know if this is Bob O'Rourke or not. I'm not sure, but that sucks. If you have to paint it, I'm definitely out. I'm only in.
That's Jason Green. Sorry, Jason. Sometimes
Jason.
Yeah, sometimes on the StreamYard software it doesn't come up with the actual name. So
yeah, if you have to paint, I'm way out of that one. I want the paint job as advertised in that graph, the photo shown earlier. So
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that you had to paint it.
Me either. It stinks.
That should be kind of something that they show you, or mention that hey, it comes unpainted.
Yeah, I didn't read the fine print yet. I can't remember if it was last night or the night before, but Michael Felcher of Red Shirt Pictures had a live chat as he's been doing actually since well before any of this coronavirus stuff. Just randomly pops online or on Facebook and starts up a live video. But he did one last night and the subject veered to Romero for a few minutes and one thing he mentioned, I can't quite remember how it came up. But, we were talking about like the complete Dawn of the Dead footage. So I think somebody might have asked, was there any like extra materials out there? And I think we all know about the German. I think the most complete version out there is that ultimate cut, the German one that was released a couple years ago on Blu-ray. I think that includes everything, every little snippet. But there is a couple of little other things that we've that are in other, like we've seen the Ralph Langer. He had the old news footage, the old interview with Wes Anderson and Romero right before Dawn of the Dead came out, and it had all those little clippings of like Steven and Roger falling out of the roof in the hallway. couple other weird little items. Have you seen that stuff, Daniel?
I not to my knowledge. Who'd you say? Wes Anderson?
Not Wes Anderson. What is that guy's name? He was the theater
I seen
theater
the Siskel
critic.
and Ebert thing. Is that the Siskel and Ebert?
No, he was a Pittsburgh theater critic. He in the paper and on TV. It's not Wes Anderson, obviously. It's something Anderson, but it's from right before Dawn of the Dead was released. See the comments, and maybe somebody's screaming at us. Nope, not yet. But anyway, it was an interview right before Dawn came out, and he was showing some clips, and it shows like Flyboy and Roger, instead of like casually dropping out, they actually fall out on top of each other. It's kind of goofy. I can see why they edited it out. But there was just a few little oddball moments that ran long. So there's that footage, and then also in Document of the Dead, there's like a little extended moment where Renee Banks and Roger are wrestling. It goes for like another couple 3 seconds longer than any cut of the film. So, and I think may have been the last video. Me and Matt were reading out all the details of the Second Sight box set, and it does appear that some of these Blu-rays are compiled from like another element that has, you know what I'm saying? So it seems clear to me, and I know that when they sent the movie to Argento, and this is just using common sense, Argento's version has stuff that's not in Romero's version. So obviously they sent them a version that was different from the extended or the theatrical. You feeling me on this? Or?
Yeah.
So otherwise, how is the scene contained that's not in? You know what I'm saying? How are those?
So that means that the print or the reels that George sent to Dario was the absolute master edit,
like 3.5 hours,
and then so Argento cut out what he wanted, and George kept one to make his original can cut, and then cut it down further.
Off of that
so if we're gonna play detective and conspiracy theorist, that it sounds like a more complete version of Dawn of the Dead is sitting in a vault in Europe somewhere, probably in Italy,
or just very well sitting in. Yeah, there you go. Because obviously we know that was sent to Dario's team.
And that's whoever is, I would assume someone like Dario has some sort of archivist or someone who takes care of inventory of his films, and I assume that they're safeguarded somewhere in some studio vault. But if he, I don't know what it would take to strike another, print. What was that? 6-7 reels probably for the original cut, if not longer. To make another copy would probably be pretty expensive. So he might have cut it up. Whether or not he saved anything, I don't know. But that also tends to lend me believe that, maybe Rubenstein's got a complete cut sitting in a box somewhere behind another box, because if George, if George sent Dario a version, well, he kept the version. So there's 2 copies of it sitting somewhere, but whether or not they're intact enough to make anything out of again, I don't know. Because I guarantee you, I don't know that they would have kept scraps. A film, maybe they did. I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker from the 70s, to know whether or not they should keep anything.
I'm kind of figuring. So it was on the Second Sight one that they had to put together the Argento cut. Is that what it was? From the other materials, something had to be compiled together. I'm wondering if maybe maybe I don't know what they're using. But it makes sense because the Argento version has scenes that were in neither of Romero's versions, so clearly he was hacking on something that included.
Yeah, Dario let the scenes play out more than George did.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the full frame Italian cut last night.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Even if it's just an extra half a second of a dialogue or an exchange, I mean that because I know the theatrical cut so well and everything, I catch every little extra bit.
You know what? I know a guy who has worked with Dario. I may reach out to him after we get off here and ask It's kind of a long shot, but it's probably the only shot I can think to take right now of anyone that is, directly connected to Dario. It'd be an oddball question to ask, but I'll shoot it in the dark and find out what we know.
Or, I have a contact at Second Sight. Whether or not they'll respond, I could just, innocently. I don't know if I can get them on the hook talking about something, or maybe they'd come on the air. Who knows?
But then I wonder why that cut has never seen the light of day.
Well, I remember Rubenstein specifically saying that he, since we already have this cut of Don, the extended one that they took to Cannes, he's like, well, it's a ready-made cut, may as well preserve it, and that was a smart move. So who's to say he wasn't thinking of the prior one as well? Because way back in the day, I sent a letter off to Richard France, and he'd sent back a letter responding, saying that he'd watched like this 3-hour version. And I'd have to dig up my notes. There's been a few people talk about this really long ass version. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting that Felcher brought that up. But those two sources, they confirm their shit out there. That one interview, I've been meaning to put that up on the YouTube page, so I'll make that happen sooner than later. So the interview with the extra Don clips, and then the little bit in Document of the Dead. So there's at least, that's probably about a minute of footage right there.
Yeah.
So there's gotta be more. And then the stuff that was cut, there obviously had to be alternate takes and stuff. Who the hell knows where that is?
Like I've seen those pictures where I see Gornick filming the airport zombie, and he's like beside a dumpster or something.
Yeah, and we've talked to Mike about that, and it's one of those, I remember it because I remember being there, but I can't tell you anything outside of the fact that I was on location pointing the camera at him. And that's, and Gornick, has a hell of a memory. But yeah, unfortunately, that must have just been an end of the day kind of thing, because that's at night, and it looks like, I'm sure they spent 2-3 days at the airport.
They were lighting it for day 2, you could tell.
Yeah.
We got to ask Tom, and if you're listening, give us a holler. Let us know what the deal was with that one scene behind the airport building.
What about that? That starts a lot of people conversating.
Oh, that's the Fran head. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at?
So that's a exclusive here. Exclusive Doodles of the Dead drawing that'll be coming out soon. Get some people talking right there.
Nice.
That's the weird thing is there's been so much. Like if you watch Document of the Dead, Romero himself says in 1977
they
that
filmed
they filmed
it.
the damn thing.
Right.
There's an interview with Galen Ross and a Fangoria. It's in the 180s, I think, or I don't know. It's in the hundreds, but it's in an article on Dawn of the Dead. She says they filmed it, and then the picture that you
footage.
yeah. Test footage, and apparently they didn't even film that. I don't even know. There's so many variations on that story. But if that's all it is, who cares? I don't need to see that footage of the doll head or whatever they did. Something else that came up, and actually, let me grab my notes because I left it in the other room. I apologize, but something that came up was the Martin black and white cut. He's mentioned. That they screened it one time in New Jersey, and then either at a theater that's no longer there, and they either got it back or didn't get it back, or got it back and then lost it, or just nobody knows for sure where it was. But he did. Michael Felcher did mention specifically that George really, really, really wanted to find that. He was really hopeful that would surface. So I thought that was interesting. I know he adores the film, but I didn't realize he was so partial, to finding that cut. So I thought that was really interesting because him and Michael have a pretty close relationship over the years.
Yeah, that black and white footage is still considered probably a holy grail for people to see. Mm-hmm. I love talking about it. but I also hate talking about it because it makes me so sad that I sometimes wish I knew where it was, even if someone's like, I'm never going to open that box again, or I know it's somewhere. Just because, some of the stuff that we talk about now, getting back, getting into this 20 some years ago, as I did, as a younger person, I wish I would have known to ask this stuff then, because it seems like, 20 more years have passed than should have, that some of these questions should have been asked, because they were probably somewhere. And if they're gone, they probably got tossed in the 90s or 2000s, because people were like, whatever. No one's going to look for it. And now we keep going back to it.
I'm trying to pull up Tom Dubinsky's last email because he did mention something about that print that I wanted to add. Okay, the film and sound for Dawn were sent to New York City. Technicolor processed and printed the film in Aquarius. Shoot. Okay, sorry. Thought it was Argento related. Apologize.
Well, we'll talk to friend of the show, Tom Dubinsky, because Tom is such a great listener of the show. He always sends us post-show notes, and I want to make sure that we in upcoming episodes, anything that Tom sends us is a either a correction, or Tom tends to pick out one or two things we talk about and gives us a little bit more in-depth insight as to whether we got a name wrong or something. And it's really awesome that he kind of keeps us on the straight and narrow. So if anything, Tom might be able to shed some light on that subject, but you never know.
Okay, here we go.
On the black and white footage.
I did found his comment. Yeah. Okay, it says an inner negative was made of George's longer cut for Dario to make the European version. Another one was made to preserve that version because the original camera negative was recut to make the US release version. UFD did not want to ship 7 reels, but would agree to 6, so George cut it down.
So from my understanding, and it's funny because I learned this from my Blair Witch book, you have the camera negative, then you make the inner positive and the inner negative. So the negative is your source material that's from the camera. So that's what you make the inner positive from. So did they just make an inner positive of all the like basically what I like to call from the Blair Witch world, all the raw footage, all the uncut footage?
Well, it wasn't uncut. It was just
it's that longer cut. It would be that longer cut. It would be probably.
I believe it would have had music. You know what I mean? The temp score would have been on there. I don't know if it would. That's another one. Tom, was there music on what you sent to Dario?
I want to say there's probably not, because I mean, unless again, I'm spitballing. I don't have the technical prowess of film to say. Why would you send Dario a cut of the film that has music in it?
Same.
What's that?
The video game arcade music was the same.
But do you think? But do you think that's everything else in the film though? Is
lucky accident? No, I don't.
Well, but I mean, it's a good line. It's a good line of discussion, because I mean, think about everything that George sent. Dario replaced all the gunshots.
Well, I'm saying it's
almost every other
track. I mean, he would just have the track. He could have just the flick of a switch.
He could have track on there. He could have sent him all the audio to both. Yeah. I don't know. And that could be the case. And he's like, oh, well, I don't know. We don't have video games over here in Italy that are going to sound like this, so I'll just put that in. But Dario replaced almost all the other sounds.
No, I mean, I'm saying that I'm using that as evidence to say that music traveled with it, because George didn't get anything back from Dario, and then what I'm saying. George made his own cut.
That's probably a question we should ask Tom. Is when you're cutting a film, when do you add? When do you add the audio, And is audio something you can take out of a cut and replace simply, just kind of along those lines? Because I'm kind of curious as to
well, with what they're working with, they would have sent the raw materials. It wouldn't have been. Now you that's a good point. They couldn't have sent like a. I can't imagine they would have sent something that was permanently laid in.
Because what I'm thinking is when you look at a strip of 35 millimeter film, you see the optic track on the right hand side. That's on the film.
I bet you they sent it on a separate reel, like a reel-to-reel audio track.
And,
you know what I mean?
and George might have sent him all those reels of the audio. Say, here, use what you want. Dario probably didn't use jack shit.
That sounds more like it.
And he sent the inner positive or the inner negative or something. He sent him 6 reels of footage.
We need Tom bad, man. Tom, get in here if you're listening.
We'll reach out to Tom after the show and get some more insight on that. But I mean, that's Dan. This is the rabbit hole we go down when we're not on air.
I hear you. I'm letting that be your thing, man.
We tend to start going down this rabbit hole, and 20 minutes later, when we come back from air, we come up from air, we're like, how the hell did we get started on this? But then it's. We have a limited amount of time to get these questions answered. Before the source of the information is no longer available. So we try to think, try to hit it from every corner is to hopefully, if we're hitting, I always use the analogy of, from Jurassic Park, where the raptors are hitting the fence at different spots looking for a weakness. I'm asking these questions from as many different angles as I can get to. So I sometimes will ask the same question 4 different ways, in hopes of jogging someone's memory or getting someone to think outside of the answer they think they keep giving. Because if there is
the script answer they've been giving out for the last 40 years,
well, and again, that's the problem. Like when you go back and you look at the interviews, like Eric had said, from the 80s and even into the 90s, a lot of the information that they give in those interviews, they don't talk about anymore. They forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was working on my Blair Witch book, I found more information from interviews from 1999 and 2000 than I did in 2013, 2014.
Yeah, that's a good
The
point.
answers were completely different because the information was a lot newer. But George wasn't getting asked about Dawn of the Dead every week in 1985 or 1990 as he was now, as he was years later. So, when you get asked the same question over and over again, is it like, when you're in school, you learn something on the first day, but if you don't come back to it, come final exam time, you're going to forget what you learned on the first day. So people weren't asking those deep dive questions like we are now, and whether or not that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. But, these are some of the questions that, hey, this is our last ditch effort to find extra footage because who knows where this stuff's going to be in another 20 years.
We need to make a television show on this. I mean, just like one of those investigations on that shows.
Yeah.
That would be great to be able to find people that are, looking for these lost cuts or these lost scenes, and just the problem is everyone thinks they're in a vault in some studio somewhere. Some producer
might be in somebody's
has these in a warehouse.
It usually is, though. It usually is.
They've been in this thing for 50 years and they don't know it.
These independent films, someone is holding on to all of that stuff somewhere. And if they aren't, they tossed it because they were like, well, whatever, I'm never going to need this, so I'm just going to toss it. And it's like, Friday the 13th turns 40 today. So, does that mean Sean Cunningham has extra footage out there that he's forgot that he had and it's sitting in a box in his old office somewhere? That's the kind of stuff that I'm like, we need to start asking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's at least an 80% chance that this footage is so long gone, for the most part.
Well, the beauty of it, though, is it's not a legend. It's confirmed to exist. We know it's a thing. It's not like a did they shoot the ending kind of thing. It's this fucking thing existed. Somebody walked off with it. Matthew Day says it's probably an assault mine in Argentina. There's always hope.
I would love to see all of the rolled footage, B-roll, everything. That's just how much I love.
Rebecca Dawn.
And that's for any of George's movies, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. Somebody says there was a black and white copy on a torrent site of Demonoid 10 years ago. I haven't heard anything about that. If anybody's listening to this and knows anything about said Demonoid torrent,
That-
black and white Martin copy, let us know.
That sounds kind of familiar. I want to say that's come across my radar once or twice that someone has had
Really?
it. Yeah, it's one of those, like, I talked to you, Eric, because you heard it from Dan, and Dan had heard it from someone. So it's like third or fourth hand information that someone knew. But the unfortunate thing is especially for you and me, Eric, we're old school Homepage of the Dead guys. Think about all the guys we talked to on a daily basis back in that day that have since fallen off the face of the earth, that probably they know that guy that has that file somewhere, or they knew that contact, or they had that email that says, oh yeah, I have it. And they like never email the guy back. And that email address is dead, and they can't remember what the guy's name is. Jim. Well, Jim who? We didn't think to.
I mean, I think you and I probably do this in our own practice. We had a lead maybe 7-8 years ago on amusement park. Never followed it.
No.
Never looked the guy up and contacted him.
Yeah.
But we had a nice lead.
I mean, and they used to come up so infrequently. Every once in a while, we'd all be sitting around, and someone would be like, "Oh yeah, I heard about so and so might have this." Oh yeah, really? That's great. Why didn't we pick up the freaking computer and type the email and say, "Hey, what do you have?" Unfortunately, now everyone's got access to film editing equipment and whatnot, and and now I think the more people like us that are out there, the closer people are holding stuff.
Right.
First world problems.
Something I forgot to create a banner on, but I wanted to bring it up, and maybe Daniel, you can help us out with this one. Did you get this book, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I can help you out with that.
Let's see if I can get this banner on. You're gonna? You grabbing it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way.
Well, this was just so there's not too much dead air. There's a book that came out somewhat recently. It's Night of the Living Dead 90, the version you've never seen, and it details storyboards that show the intent of Tom Savini, the director, show more of what he intended to do with the film. And I don't think we've talked about it too much, even though it's been out for a minute, Matt. I just wanted to kind of bring it up.
I know we've touched upon it. It came out last September. I know we touched upon it, I think probably right after our show about the last Living Dead weekend. I think it was one of the first things we touched on. And yeah, I like that it's storyboards, and I think is Daniel back. So does he have it? So I'm assuming it's all storyboards and not.
It's a ran a comic book.
Okay.
It's a comic book.
So I was wondering if
you
it
know
had.
what I mean? Just look at it that way.
Okay.
But it's got notes that Tom wrote about each scene in there and what he wanted and what didn't go right. It's just neat, man. It's neat.
Well, answer this for me,
If
Daniel.
you're a fan of 1990, I highly recommend that. If you're a fan of 90, if you're a deep diver into 90, this is just cool. What Tom's initial vision was for what this movie could have been,
My question is, because I was looking at the reviews on Amazon, and you can get this on Amazon. I think it's $23, $24. It's not too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But there were the reviews were kind of all over the place, because there were some people that were disappointed that it's not a very long read. It just seems like it's basically it's
the storyboards.
That's all it is, right? Do you think that maybe this would have been
like an
more
introduction and a couple behind the scenes photos? That's it. You could have gone a lot more into it, but it took a whole lot more work.
Well, do you think maybe this would have been a good section for a larger book? You know what I mean? Like if they were going to do like the entire.
I don't know if the fan base is there.
True.
Yeah, I don't know if the fan base is there to back it. I don't know how much money people would be willing to dish out for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the book right now is just a tick under $25. it looks like it's all black and white outside of the cover. I know there's a fan base of the 1990 remake, but I agree with you. I don't know if it's enough to warrant a full-fledged color making of book. As much as I'd love to see it, because we know like Everett Burrell and all these guys have all these photos, and put together, is it enough? I don't know. But you don't know. You never know what a book like this could inspire someone to do. Is like, oh, look at those storyboards. I didn't think about storyboarding something like that.
Well, like the Day of the Dead book, though, something like this would have gone right in that Day of the Dead book.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it seems like there's an awful lot of them, though. I don't, what I mean? That would have been a pretty big section of a book.
Well, and that's the kind of those were some of the thoughts that I had when I was writing 8 Days in the Woods. I said, look, I'm touching on a movie that is way super popular that everybody knows about, but how many people are going to look at it from the perspective that I did in terms of how to make a small film and what happens when it gets huge. You never know what one type of movie, how someone else sees it. Lee's book goes, in super detail like mine does, but Night 90 doesn't have the coverage that a Day of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead does. And it's one of those almost like, I don't want to say forgotten. It's there. And when you bring it up to a horror fan, they remember seeing it. They know about it. A lot of people like it. I don't see a lot of people that don't like it. But someone just said in the comments, it's Jason said it's a remake done right. Tom put together the blueprint of remaking one of the absolute most influential horror films, ever made. And he did it his own way. He kept the spirit of the film intact. And what happened? I think it just came out at the wrong time. 1990 was a weird time for film, or horror films, because you're winding down the 80s. And at that point in the 80s, everything was a sequel of a franchise or schlock B type trauma films.
Daniel, let me ask you this. Looking at the storyboards, what's your take on, had Tom's original vision?
That would have been even better. I love the 90s.
Better?
I loved it. I don't think you're that big a fan. I'm not 100%, but that was, I saw that. All right, so we'll go into my introduction here. I saw both Night of the Living Dead on Monster Vision when I was a kid through Joe Bob Briggs. And I think I was in 4th grade and we had a sleepover. I had some guy buddies over and we watched them all back to back. And 1990 scared the shit out of both of us. And it was on TNT, so it was edited a little bit, for footage, but it was late night. But I think that's what Tom has come to realize now. Is there's a whole generation of people like me that found that film when they were really young and got them super hyped on it. And that was a large part of what kept me going deeper into the Romero universe was that movie too.
Something I've noticed, Daniel, and I don't mean anything by that. I've noticed that people that are like in their mid-30s and under right now, across the board,
they got on
love that fucking movie. That movie's the shit. And that's where you hear the comments like, hey, I like it better than the original.
No.
Yeah, I'm hearing it so much it doesn't even offend me anymore. I'm hearing a lot of that, and it's usually, they're right around the 30 year old crowd.
Well,
right?
and
I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but when it's what you're used to when you grow up.
That makeup, man, when I saw that makeup as a kid,
Let's take a pause on that statement. I think, when we talk about remakes versus the original and people liking this more than this, I think it's a closer argument with Tom remaking Night and a lot of people liking it better because they're very closely related. I mean, Tom remade Night and George was involved at a certain level, and it was made, in Pittsburgh. It was made for the right reasons. So I can see why someone would think Night 90 might be a better film from a technical aspect. I mean, there's days where I like it more than the original, and there's days I like the original more than I like the remake. It just they're depending on what I'm in the mood for. And I think that's less of a charged statement liking Tom's movie more than George's, and some people think it's a technical better film, and it might be, because remember, this was George's first film. I mean, think about how many mistakes you make the first time you do something versus the 10th time you do it. And George has said that on a lot of his earlier films. He would go back, he'd like to remake The Crazies and Martin and some of those, from a technical aspect. I think story-wise, they're both very strong. I think it just depends on where you fall on that given day, and when you saw it. I'm sure I saw George's night before Tom's. I remember seeing Tom's first. And it's just, they're like...
You saw him on the same night for the first time, Daniel?
You faded out what?
You saw both of them for the first time on the same night?
Yeah, back to back with Joe Bob Briggs, and they had all the cast from Night was there. I don't know, it was really cool. Yeah,
that's sweet, man. I can't imagine.
And they didn't.
How did they hit you? How did each film hit you?
Different, because we're fourth grade, I got 5 of my buddies hanging out with me, so we're talking and jibber jabbering through the whole thing, but during the intense parts, we're all, oh shit, fourth grade. Day was my first, though. I saw Day when I was 5. That was my first R-rated movie with my cousin.
Jeez.
That was my introduction into zombies. Yep. My older cousin. Yep. Let me stay up late with him and watch Day. And then we got the Stars channel, and I think I was 8, and Creepshow came on Stars. It was either Stars or Encore, and I happened to catch it right as it was starting. And I love something to tide you over. Everybody goes for the crepe, but seeing Leslie Nielsen as a bad guy, woo,
Mm-hmm.
that was so good when I was little. But no, Dawn right after that too, and it was those are both Stars. I saw both of those on Stars.
But the original and the remake, they both hit you pretty hard.
Yeah,
different ways.
Yeah, different ways too. And I've watched them so many times since I was young too, and I try sometimes actually to go a year or two without watching some of these movies that I like, just to give myself a break from them when I go back to rewatch them again. It's kind of like watching them with a little fresher eyes too, And I love, every time I watch them, I love bringing a buddy that's never seen one over to watch it and kind of get their opinion and hear their little things on first time seeing it. Like, why'd they do that? And did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the more excited I am to show someone a movie for the first time, it doesn't land where I want it to. So I kind of,
right.
I don't even recommend movies anymore. It's disappointing.
Someone will be like, "Can you recommend something?" I'm like, "Well, what are you into?" Or like, "I don't like this or that," or like, "Give me like the give me something out there." I was like, "No," because there's movies I've watched that I will never recommend to another human being. And I'm like, you never want to watch some of the movies that I have sitting on my shelf. They're like, oh, really? I was like, no, just no. I try to get them some more lesser known popular horror movies that don't fall, in their field of view, not being a horror fan. I would show someone Night 90 in a heartbeat, maybe Texas Chainsaw 2, stuff like that. But when you get into some of the obscure stuff, I wouldn't suggest Fulci or Argento or some of those films, just because they're sometimes just even too weird for me. When I watch some of Fulci films, I'm like, I get what he's going for. I'm just not in the mood for it.
It's so fun to watch an audience. Like if you can go to a screen and seeing people in there, like their reactions to stuff like that when it first pops out. Anytime you can catch any of George's movies or anything, watch it in the theater if you can. And those Italian films are great in the theater.
Matt, I'm going to throw something up. This will be fun to talk about for just a second.
I miss Omar.
Yeah, there's a gentleman. His name was Omar, and he jumped in one of the Romero groups and was just schooling everybody. It's just like, dude, where do you think you are?
Let's define schooling.
Omar, take it from here.
Omar had his own interpretation about what Dawn of the Dead was about. and he just went, I mean, there's some good theories that people have that are like kind of touching what Dawn was about. This guy was like on the other side of the galaxy trying to equate multiple things that had nothing to do with Dawn. He's like, well, George meant this by doing this. This was about AIDS and this and that. And I was like, what? So this, like you said, this guy's name was Omar. He kind of like he was like a flash in the pan. He showed up. It felt like
and he wrote a paragraph. I remember one thing he wrote like.
Oh, you know Omar, awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Because when the hashtag
I look at everything. I don't post everything, but I'm
when the hashtag Ask Omar came up, I was watching Dan, and he kind of looked lost for a minute, and I think maybe it just took him a moment to remember what that was. But that is a joke that Jason and I have had for the last 5 or 6 years, however long it's been. Is whenever
it's not 5 or 6, but it's been like 3.
Maybe it's only been 3.
Been a while.
Maybe we've been joking about it for so long we've added years to the joke. But whenever he and I see a debate going on in a common thread, one of us will just hashtag Ask Omar because he knew it all. I mean, this guy knew everything about everything George ever intended.
He's got the YouTube videos to prove it. If you need his analysis, it's still probably we gotta find them.
I think he took them down. Jace, link us. If he still has them up, there's a part of me that says they're gone. But then there's
it's too good. It's got to be.
It's one of those, like, if they're up, you got to download them, because that is what you watch on a night where you have a bunch of buddies, and you just want to laugh. And
I want to see it now.
Oh my God, it's been a hot minute since I've seen them. I kind of miss him.
Asking us about Night of the Living Dead 3D.
Oh yeah, may as well. I don't even. I have this thing.
I have a story about it.
Go for it.
When I was in college, I lived about an hour outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and I took a chick on a date to the theater to go see it in the theater.
What?
Yeah,
this thing was in theaters.
It was in a limited run at a little like an arts theater.
This is the Sid Haig thing, right?
The Sid Haig one. Yep. And we saw it in the theater. Absolutely terrible, and I think that's the only time I ever watched it. And I just remember I got laid afterwards. That was it.
All right.
So Sid Haig got you laid.
Yeah.
At first I was going to say maybe that was okay, but no, I was thinking of a different Sid Haig. Sid Haig was in House of the Dead 2, which was okay. But yeah, this one was pretty bad. I think Ben was white.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I just watched most of this. I just got a new Roku player a month or 2 ago, so I was going through all the channels and all the free movies. I watched probably 40 minutes of it, and it's like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like, I couldn't stop watching it because I'm like, okay, what role does Sid Haig play? Because I tried not to read too much into it, and he shows up as like the mortician guy, and he's already cool with everything happening, and I'm like, this is never going to get any better. Like, I think the movie peaked at the opening credits, and just like it just went down, and it's like, okay, I turned it off after they got in the farmhouse and they were there for a little bit. And
I'm not seeing it. I must not have it.
I think there was a couple in a barn or something getting ready to have sex or having sex, and they heard the screams or whatever. I don't know. It couldn't keep my attention because I think I wore myself out just laughing at the absurdity of Night of the Living Dead in 3D. Even with Sid Haig, and God bless Sid Haig. I love the man to death. He was such a sweetheart. But
that's something you and I have a love for. You and I love Joe Ripple to death with this Scares That Care horror convention. I've been a buddy of him for a long time. I've donated all kinds of stuff to him to help him out. I've actually donated some stuff that George and Savini had signed.
Yeah,
some artwork I'd done.
Yeah, Joe Ripple. For those of you guys that might not be familiar, there's a charity called Scares That Care, and the point of the charity is to raise money for those that are going through a tough time, whether it's disease or accident. And every year there's a convention in Williamsburg, Virginia, and throughout the year they pick 3 special people to donate money to: 1 child, 1 woman battling breast cancer, and then a burn victim, I believe, is the 3rd one. Yeah. And the convention is one of the absolute most family-friendly, laid-back environments. I've never been to an event that people are just so happy to be there, to be around each other, and it's a charity. So, it's not to break the bank. They get some great guests, a lot of authors, a lot of nice vendors, a lot of things. It's a show that really helps you remember why you love horror movies, and you just get a chance to sit with a lot of these people, and it's not a crowded Monster Mania or Comic-Con type event. But yeah, Joe Ripple's one of the absolute best people in the world, and I would do anything for him. But yeah, his show always, is a good reminder of why I'm a fan of the genre, and why I think horror is the absolute best thing, happening in movies, because we have the best fans, the best movies, best locations. And it all stems from George. I wouldn't be a horror fan if it weren't for George. First, I read Jason's comment. I thought he said Night of the Living Dead 30, and I was like, do we really have to talk about that piece of shit tonight?
Yeah, cover it one day. It's been a minute. One thing I was thinking about when we were on the Night 90 book earlier is what it reminded me of, and which is a different book that I didn't think was a really good value. Love what's in it, but I don't know if did either one of y'all get this?
Oh no, I haven't gotten it.
I mean, the pictures are amazing, and Peter Johnson did this artwork, but I mean, you can see it's just maybe not. It's like a couple words at the front. Sorry, and then it's just basically the pictures. Sorry, I'm doing color? No, they're not even in color. Sorry, this is awful. Is it? Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think that the resolution was better on like the screen grabs that I got off of the guy's blog. It's I mean, I if you want the book, I'm not upset that I have it, but after you get it and you see the 25 pages and you're kind of done with it, it's like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah. I was thinking about getting it when he first started talking about it, and Peter was doing the artwork, and Peter's artwork is fantastic.
Yeah.
When I saw people coming out with it, and I think Marty Schiff had a copy of it at his table at the Living Dead Weekend a couple of years ago, I was disappointed there was no anecdotes. There was no paragraph or page, about that photo or about what might have been happening. If they were there, I probably would have bought it already. But
yeah, he expressed no real, like when he was there, he's like, it was just another gig. He just took some pictures one night and it turned out to be something years later. And it's basically, he's got like a little, maybe 200 word intro, and that's about it. Just saying that he doesn't remember anything.
Was that Richard Burke?
Richard Burke. That's it. Yeah,
I found he's selling a lot of those photos I saw on it was Redbubble.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know the price range?
I have no idea.
I had a very interesting Facebook exchange with him a couple years ago. Kind of turned me off to also buying the book for him. It made me pump the brakes a little bit on that purchase, just based off it, because he didn't know who I was. I knew who he was, but he just the kind of way he came at me on a conversation that he was not involved with, it just kind of unfortunately soured me.
Yeah, no shit. It sucks. I mean, I don't know the guy personally. He took some pretty clutch photos. Let's see. Mark Norris said he's made a comment. It's a shame, lost opportunity. Richard Burke is a great guy, but he never knew at the time what he was sat on. Yeah, I mean, I think even now he doesn't really care all that much. Yeah. And when we've barked about it before, but we're all waiting on the Catherine Colbert collection. Now that I'd gladly drop the 25-30 for, but I mean, at the same time, I would want some full color glossies. I don't want, I want a reflection of the actual image. I don't want some compressed black and white horse shit. I mean, if that's
hard for me to do, like when I do my artwork and I'm looking up reference photos, I've got files and files on my computer of stuff I've saved for years, but I mean, there's certain images I want to do, but I'll go to detail, isn't that, because these images are there's not a lot of them floating around too.
Well, and too, I mean, I'm they're in black and white. Were they shot in black and white? So is there not a color reference?
Right.
And that's probably, 1977 color photography was still a thing, especially for, actual photographers. And they probably did it black and white because they knew they were probably going to be printed in trade magazines and newspapers.
Yeah.
and not having to go to color and lose, clarity and, and whatnot. So that's probably why you'll probably never get a full color shot of, one of the hero shots from one of the Dawn lobby cards or whatever. I'm okay with them being in black and white. It doesn't bother me none. I just want to see what else she has, because she has to have rolls and negatives.
As long as it's got good resolution, yeah.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure.
I mean, in the final product, I mean.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, if you got the negative, you can make a pretty decent sized photo.
Well, that's what I'm screaming. This guy didn't do it. Richard Burke. I don't know what
he might have not rescanned them. He might have, because
I mean,
yeah. I mean, and
I think I could have taken the stuff off his blog and probably done.
Well, when you don't print anything from Facebook, because it downgrades it to 72 DPI, and it really, you lose a lot of quality when you upload even a professional photo. Some of my professional photos, if I don't do stuff to them in Photoshop for Facebook, you lose a lot of that clarity right off the bat. So I end up, any photo that I post on Facebook of my photography, I have a Facebook file and a regular printable file that I can use elsewhere, because you have to sharpen it. You have to do so much stuff to it just to make it look good on Facebook. And it's almost even not worth putting your photography on Facebook for the extra work.
Makes sense. Hey, I wanted to, we talked about this last week, and we've already got plenty of cast members lined up, but we still have a lot of roles to fill on our Day of the Dead live audio play. If you're interested, contact us at WGON Radio at gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook. Just send me a message and we can work something out. But roles are filling fast, but there are quite a few speaking parts, still some big ones and small ones left.
Yeah. We need a professional zombie moaner.
We will need some of that, yeah.
I mean, they're you get enough people that are acting as zombies, and remember the final scene. There's a lot of zombies in one scene. You can get those different voices and pitches and sounds. So, reach out to Eric and let him know what you're interested in. He'll let you know what you have. I think it's going to be a very fun project to do.
Just to reiterate it, or just to restate what it is, it's a audio play on the original script for Day of the Dead, so it won't reflect the final film. It'll be what George's original treatment, with a lot more characters. So it ought to be interesting. And I've been thinking about music too. I mean, I'm not quite there. I probably want to arrange the voices, but we're gonna do music, sound effects. Do some gunfire stuff, just to kind of add some atmosphere. So Daniel's on board.
Yes, sir. Captain Rhodes here. I can't do a good Joe Pilato. I read a little bit of it the other day just to give it a test run. So you're going to get redneck Rhodes. So it'll be Rhodes played by somebody.
And I think too, it's important to think. It doesn't have to mirror what George ended up. This is going to be what his original script was before he cast a lot of these people.
It's a huge difference from the script than what actually ended up getting filmed.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a great standalone companion piece to say, hey, this was George's original script. Let's see what we can do with it. Yeah. It's definitely not going to detract from the final product, but I think people are going to enjoy it once we get it all together and finished, because we're going to have narration, we got the characters, we're going to have the zombies, hopefully the sound effects and the music, like Eric said. This will be a full-fledged audio production.
I was even thinking of I talked to a local artist that has never seen or is not familiar with George Romero, and I sent him the script and I was like, hey, give me like 15 or so just set sketches, and just so we could do like a slideshow to kind of go with the video version of it. But I mean, I'm fascinated to see what he comes up with, somebody that's not familiar with Rhodes or Bub or any of those characters. Just, you know what I mean? It'd be just another way of taking a completely fresh look at it. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. And reach out, WGON Radio at gmail.com. Several roles left, but they are filling up fast. So if you're interested, get in touch.
Yeah, and as we get the roles filled up, I was just going to say, as we get the roles filled up, we'll give you guys more information as to deadlines, as to what to give, how to give it, so we can get this all compiled here pretty soon, so we don't lose steam on it. I'm excited. I want to hear this. I want to get it done.
Jace has some pro level audio sound effects for zombies. I appreciate it, Jason. Hey, Jason, if you feel like doing some musical sketches that you'd like to include, my email inbox is wide open, sir.
I have a feeling if he does that, there's going to be a heavy Prince influence for Jace.
That's fine.
Big
I prefer
Prince
some
fan.
funky synth.
I was going to say I'm not opposed to that. I just have a feeling there'd be some Prince influence.
And Mark doesn't want to let us down. I tell you what, Mark, maybe we could get you. There's like literally, I think there was one part where there's like a person on an intercom that has one line. I mean, we'll get you on that one, Mark. We'll figure something out. So look, Jace is on it. Mark, I sent him a message. Will you let him know that I sent him one? I don't think we're Facebook friends yet, so let him know that I've sent him a message about it. And Jace will ask. Spoil it. Jace will ask Prince. That would be wild if Prince did a soundtrack for Day
or any horror film.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting sound.
All right, Daniel, I want to take a minute for you to talk about Daniel Lowery's Doodles of the Dead and some of the artwork that you've been doing lately, and where people can see it and what you have planned with it.
Well, I don't know where to begin with this because I don't really know what I want to do with it. I know that I'm just going to keep doing it and just kind of see what happens with it. Started going deep about a year ago. I started drawing a couple. Well, let me start way back. I started as a vendor at conventions a long time ago. I did something called Undead Art by Daniel Lowery, and I just draw fan art of all kinds of stuff, and that's how I made money. That's how it helped pay for autographs when I was doing conventions. But this is back when I could get a table for $100 for a weekend, and now those same places are going to want to charge me $500 for a weekend.
What year is this, roughly?
I started early 2000s.
Okay, well, damn,
yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
You were just a youngster back then.
Yeah, doing that. So I've always been in the horror movies and stuff, but really, like Romero is really what got me big in the horror. I think it really started when I've always been a zombie guy, and that's Romero's fault too. I didn't really get into Return of the Living Dead until I was a little older, more like college years. But Dawn just scared the shit out of me when I saw it when I was a kid, and that's really what got me going deep. And then the laser discs for everything that had all the bonus features on it, before DVD, really got me into how they made it. Is really what got me more interested in more George's work and why I started going out for more of his material. But yeah, I've started doing. I've always done little George sketches and paintings here and there. But I just decided I had stopped drawing for maybe 4 years, and I was looking for an excuse to pick it back up. And one day I did a couple George, drawings from George's drawing. I'm just going to keep doing this. It was kind of like a good therapy for me. It was something I liked doing. I've done commission work where I've drawn people's babies and blah, 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 but that's just not fun to me anymore because it's so stressful. Somebody's paying you to draw their baby, I'd rather just do what I want to do. I'd rather just draw what I want to draw and stick with it. But I started doing it with pen, and now I've switched mainly back to pencil. I've got a couple things I'll show you guys around here in a little bit that I can show you. But just trying different media out, just trying to make myself better. I'm actually not a big fan of Photoshop. Like I love seeing fan art. If you're in any of the Dawn of the Dead groups or Living Dead Weekend, like I love sharing other people's fan art, not just drawings and paintings, but sculptures. Like I love seeing what everybody does. I hunt for that stuff on the regular. So I'm just trying to get better at everything I do. I just don't personally I don't go for the Photoshop. I prefer traditional arts. That's what I usually stick with. I've got a couple pieces I've done in Photoshop, but I'll be uploading those here soon. If you dig back deep enough, you might find some of them already in some of the pages. Right. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll play a game. I don't really know what to show off. I guess I'll show some different stuff and go with the pencil. I don't know. Pick one. Pick a Romero movie or a character. Let's see what I got. Because all right, I'm posting one I'm posting one picture a week, guys. And depends on what the movie is where I put it. I have a Doodles of the Dead Facebook page, but it gets zero traffic because I'm not giving Zuckerberg any money to promote it. Okay, so really you can find it on my personal page on Daniel Lowery. I got 3 kids now, so I don't have a lot of time to promote and do stuff. Every Friday I post a new drawing, and I like doing that because that keeps me consistent. I'm already a year ahead of myself. I've got a little over 100 now, but I think I started posting them back in maybe August or so of last year. Yeah, my goal has been I started off doing 4 a week, and now I'm doing a minimum of 2 a week. And if I miss something, I try to make up for it. Like I did 4 this week already.
So
manage a quarantine. Go ahead.
So in regards to your Doodles of the Dead Facebook page, the more you interact with it, the more people pick up on it. The algorithm will keep it up. Like I have a page for my Blair Witch Experience that pretty much lays dormant 9 months out of the year, but every once in a while someone pings it and I get more activity. Yeah. So the more times you post to that and share it,
the more traffic.
Yep. You can do that without sponsoring.
Yeah. So I don't social media a lot. That's a weird thing about me. So this is actually like this is the first podcast type thing I've ever done. I don't know. I'm for technology, but I'm against it at the same time. I work in cybersecurity too, so the shit weirds me out. I don't know. I'm just old school. You'll notice I don't post a lot. Like my wife posts most of our like personal stuff, like hang with the babies and stuff like that. I let her handle that. It's just I really only check Facebook when I'm taking a shit. I honestly, when I'm on the Facebook, if you see me commenting or talking, it's usually I'm taking a dump or I'm just bored somewhere. But yeah, I'm not on it often. I'm an old soul, man. I grew up on a tobacco farm, and I live in a real country town. So my house, which we'll see here shortly, is very interesting from where I come from. And I don't know, everybody's running around right now, not wearing masks and everything. It's bad where I'm at.
I'm not wearing any pants for this podcast either. Yeah. So, I don't have a mask or pants on. So
we won't judge you. But yeah, I wanted to go deep with the drawings, man. So I've got stuff from George's commercials. I got behind the scenes photos, and this is just something neat. I don't know.
Let's see the commercial stuff. I'm way into that.
I was gonna say, I knew Eric was gonna jump on that before I asked for something.
I said this one the other week. That's called Calgon.
Yeah,
and look, I don't sell these for a couple reasons yet. I mean, I've posted them online a couple times. We needed help earlier, especially when all this went down. But I don't know what to do with it, and I don't want to have the trouble of selling it because if I start an Etsy page, I got to deal with looking at it every time to see if somebody buys something. And I'm lazy, y'all. I'm lazy, and I don't have the time to do any of this stuff. I do this for the fans, man. That's really why I do this. I do this for the fans. And if one day something comes out of it, that's great. But what I got to watch is I've got people all the time that don't really know. They're like, why don't you sell prints? And why don't you sell prints? And I was like, yeah, I could do that, but it's not technically legal, and I don't want to piss off the people that made these movies that I love so much. I don't want to piss them off by, doing that. So if anybody wants something, just hit me, PM me, and we can talk about selling stuff. But I've decided I'm not even going to advertise that I'm selling them. If I did do anything.
I mean, there's a fine line with fan art, and you're not a commercial studio that's going to make money hand over fist.
Right.
You're doing it because you love it. People want your art.
They're called for a reason too. Like
I mean, come on, you're not mass producing these. You didn't make 1,000 prints of Kyra from Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
Well, you're okay with selling an original, right?
Oh yeah, I'll sell originals all day. I'm actually a vendor. I'll be a vendor weekend this year. So that's another thing I was hoping. I've been keeping that kind of radio silent, but yes, I was scheduled to be a vendor at this year's event in Monroeville.
Well, I like what I'm hearing though, Daniel, because just because you can, a lot of people think just because you can, go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
but it does not what it means. It means,
Yep.
Govern yourself properly and do the right thing, and it sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yep.
And don't feel that there's a need to have to sell it.
So much, I'm scared to put money in it. Yeah. I don't have to sell this. These are for my kids too. If they give a shit about it when I'm older, that's great. And if not, my wife can take them and throw them in the trash can or sell them or, whatever. They're here. But I don't know really this. I'm sure there might be somebody else that does it, but I don't know anybody else. I don't really know any other artists that have just focused on drawing nothing but, one group set of movies. I just thought it's just a really neat concept. One artist that has done nothing but just not in life, but dedicated a lot of time to just drawing. It keeps people up to date with it too. Like there are people on my Facebook aren't necessarily horror fans. You have people that I grew up with. So for them to see this stuff, believe it, it's keeping people interested in Romero's work. It's a conversation starter when you post it in some of the groups. That's really why I like doing it. I like the reactions that I get out of it.
And keep doing it for that reason.
Daniel,
Yeah.
are you able to show the one that you DM'd me the other day, or is that handy?
Show the what?
The one that you sent me in DM?
I got a couple. Yeah. So I did one for Eric. This is the black and white. Jesus, hang on. Pen version of Ken. And I attempted it with a colored pencil, and I think it looks like I think it looks like
I dig the color one just because I know that scene in Pennies. Yeah. Oh, of course we are. We're always our worst critic. Why don't you can you show the one you did for me?
I have a stack here. I was going to show you guys of ones that I've been holding off from posting. I thought that would be fun to go through.
Right.
Show you some of the ones I was like, that looks like shit. I'm not going to post that one. I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, I'll show a little tease of some stuff too. I don't know. Here's one I got coming up. But I can never make up my mind like what I want to do. Like I'll do it, and that's in pen. And I'll turn around and color some of them too, just to see what route I want to go with, kind of like a test. So I'll draw my actual drawing, and then I'll scan it and I'll print a copy of it out, and then I'll color the copy just to be like, okay, do I want to fuck up my original and put color on it or what? Kind of like a test. Yeah, kind of like a little test. Here's one I posted a week or two ago that I did in Photoshop. So that's the sketch of this is from the Creepshow TV series.
Nice.
And I did them in a marker, and then I put them in Photoshop and kind of doctored them up a little bit. So that's what the point I'm trying to make is I'm trying different mediums out. I'll take you over there in a little bit and show you some paintings and stuff here in a little bit. Here's two I didn't think made the cut. I got a Leslie Nielsen from Creepshow, and Mr. Yeah. There's another one. This one's still a work in progress. But yeah, I started doing the cast, sitting around watching the TV, and I tried to color it. I didn't like it.
Nice. I like that one.
Yeah. Trying to think of a really. I'm not going to show you everything. Can't do that. Where I want to go. Let's try to find something.
Yeah, you did a nice bruiser one for me for my birthday this year.
I got to get that to you. I was hoping to give it to you in June.
Oh, nice.
Love it.
It's really sharp.
Yeah.
This is probably going to. I thought about putting this one up this week. Where's it at?
Oh, nice.
That's the first one I've done. I got a couple from Creepshow 2, but that's the first one I've done from Creepshow 2 that I got on here. I got a Chief Woodenhead too. Let's see.
You big on Creepshow 2?
Yes, of course. Creepshow one more, but yes, I'll dig on Creepshow 2 and Tales from the Dark Side. I'll dig.
Yeah.
This one's still not finished, but.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
I like that. You need to do one of that high tone son of a bitch sometime.
Yeah. Here's one I did this week. I like this one. I don't know if we can see it.
I'm having a hard time.
Miguel.
Oh, okay. Now I see it. Okay. Nice.
But yeah, I've started really doing more with the pencil here lately. I'm getting better results from eyeballs and stuff with pencils, and I've never really drawn in pencil, so I'm just playing. I love the 2 Evil Eyes I did the other day. Oh, fuck it. It was Richard Francis' birthday this week, so I'll show that one.
Yeah, good one.
The pencil's that's a pencil. So I started doing the pencil not that long ago, and I'm sticking with the pencil. I'm much happier with my results. This one went up this week. Shit. Sorry, I'm looking at everything over here.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I do this for the fans, man. It's just too much work for me to have to do, but it doesn't take me long to do these. I gotta give some Night Riders love, so I'll show one more.
Brother Blue.
Cool. Yeah. All right, last one, and I'm not gonna show any more.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's a little preview of coming attractions, guys. But yeah, I would love to be able to have like a little coffee table or book something, like in the future, but like getting license rights and all that for blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to pursue this really hard, but if anybody wants to reach out about it, reach out.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
But yeah, I like doing it, and I'll show you some more here in a little bit when we start looking around.
Yeah, so you mentioned it. I'll go ahead and change the banner, but Collector's Corner. We like to bring. It's kind of the focus here, right? At the first few videos we've done is bringing on folks that share their collection. And Daniel, I haven't seen everything of yours, but I have seen.
I'll post it in little bits. I'll post it in a little bit. I'm not going to go around and brag it and show you the same picture every damn 50 minutes. I'm not going to do that. I post it. If you want to find it, just search for me in the groups and look through. You might have to dig
It's all
a little
there,
bit.
huh? But I am incredibly impressed with your action figure display because you are a notorious action figure opener.
Yes, I actually, some are still in the box. The goal back in the day when I had a little more money, like before you get married and have kids and all that, you buy one, you open it, and you buy the other, and you keep it in the box. And that's worked out to my advantage because where I'm at now from a collecting standpoint is every time I get something new, something's got to go out, just because of storage space and upkeep and everything. And I used to have I used to collect a lot of Alien stuff, Gremlin stuff, but I've just been focused on the Romero stuff for years. Let's talk about Romero collecting. My mom got on eBay way back in the early days of the internet, and I remember what got me into collecting Romero stuff. I remember we had Norm's page and Homepage of the Dead. So we had Zombie Farm, Homepage of the Dead, and all. I just seen everybody else's stuff on the internet too, because it wasn't a community, so I didn't know a lot of the stuff existed. But man, I remember getting on eBay back in the early mid 2000s, and the stuff you'd see on there for dirt cheap, and there's some of it's gone way up, some of it's gone down, and some of it's kind of stayed. I'm a weird too. Like, I'm a collector, but I like some of the stuff I have are reprints just because I wanted it and didn't want to pay $500 for an original or something. But I try to stick with originals with a lot of my stuff. So with all the things I collect, the Romero stuff, I try to get more original stuff. But if I see a fan art something, I'm going to get it. If I think it's awesome, I'm going to get it. So you're getting ready to hear me plug a whole lot of fan art here in a minute. So I don't really know where to begin here. Right.
Jason Green says to take them out of the box.
Cabinet. Well, we're kind of focused on a display cabinet here. So I guess I'll let you just name if you see something in particular you can't really see very well, you want to see a little more, or if there's a particular movie or something. I'm going to pull out whatever.
Well, okay.
My headphones off.
I can see on the top there you got the board game, the novelization hardcover. Is that what that is?
Yeah. I think we're back in there somewhere too.
What's that third shelf down? I see silver marker in the background. Something signed.
Back here?
To your left.
This?
Yeah, behind that. What's that signed?
That's the film can.
Okay. Okay.
You guys know what that is because y'all.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. I see
the
okay.
That's the grail. That's the grail of the collection.
Okay, gotcha.
I might as well start with the grail. Gotta get everybody going. Why the hell am I at? Some asshole I know named Eric Kent. I got this from him.
It's probably counterfeit. It's probably a knockoff of a knockoff, knowing that guy.
Yeah. And some asshole I know named Matt Blasey gave me this.
Oh, I gave you wood.
They gave me wood. Yeah, man.
I think I've given wood to everybody watching this.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
What's the creep show? Is that the creep show figure? Oh, wow. Look at there.
This came from my wife. Like, I have her for finding this. So just so everybody knows what this is. As it was posted on Instagram as from a VHS collector, and it said, "Hey, I got this Night of the Living Dead print. It's got 3 reels, but normally the movie only comes with 2 reels, but this one's got 3, so I think it's got some missing footage or something. But anyway, I'm just selling it for $300 if somebody wants it." So my wife bought it for $300. So I took some pictures of it, and in particular,
16, right?
in particular the writing here. I sent it to some people, and I got some messages back that were, "Don't post anything about it. Don't say you have it. Don't do any of that shit." And I was kind of like, "Oh shit, okay." Okay, so living in Evans City, so I took it up there and I showed it to. I think I showed it to Gary. I met with Larry, and we took it and showed it to Gary Striner, and Gary Striner looked at it and said, "Yep, that's my handwriting." As far as I know, besides what Image 10 has, this is an original Image 10 16 millimeter that was sent out to like drive-in movie theaters and places back when the movie was first released. But I've had everybody sign it, and I let Russ and them took it and viewed it and checked it out for me. He left me a nice little note inside. Thanks for letting me borrow the print. So I let them use the print to check it out.
So they watched it?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have George on it, obviously, but everybody who I could get on Living Dead Weekend, this I had signed. One regret I have is I had this in the car at the 50th, not the 50th, it was the 50th, the screen at the bottom. And Charles Creed was there, and I did not go to my car to get him to sign it. So I regret that. But this is reel 1, and there's Gary's handwriting on it.
That's cool as hell, man.
It looks like it's in great shape too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I have a 16 millimeter, but I'm so scared to hook it up to
Don't
to
do
play
it.
this fucking thing. So like I did a little bit. So I've watched a little bit of it. On the extra reel that we had.
What was on the extra reel?
It's nothing. It's like it looks like reel in case one of them malfunctioned. It's just an extra part of reel 2, but it starts at a different location. It's from a completely different collection. So yeah, that's reel 1. And this is reel 2 that's got Gary's writing on it. But yeah, I don't know how the hell my wife got lucky and was able to do this. I doubt you'll be able to see any of it.
Does it have the Walter Reed logo? Does it open with the Walter Reed logo? Do you know that?
No, they're rewound. So like when I watched them, I had to watch them in reverse. I don't have an extra reel to rewind it. Yeah. So yeah, I had to watch them in reverse.
Hell of a score, man. Courtney hooked that up, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I had a contract drawn up with Russ and Ramona Striner when we let them borrow it. You know, anything that's on it is ours, and blah 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 blah. But let's pretend that there would have been director's cut footage on this. You know, like some of the scenes that were missing. Image 10, everybody would have gotten a piece of it. There ain't no way in hell I could have. You know, no. As much as I got screwed over in the copyright too, like I said, everything I do for the fans, man.
Yeah,
right,
for as much as our wives complain about our collecting, they sure come through in a pinch with all the goodies.
Yes,
I'm telling you that my wife will be like, "What'd you get in the mail today?" And then come Christmas, Father's Day, or birthday or something, she gets me something that I wasn't expecting, and I'm like, "Oh, so you do listen?"
I got this signed by everybody that was at the 50th screening. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that have these signed by everybody, but I got that signed.
Cool.
I'll have to.
Did you get it signed
out of here, but I'll pull the laptop over here in a little bit, and we'll look at some of this stuff here in a little bit. But, I'm going to plug a fan art of an artist here. This is a sculpt they did of George. This is by a lady, and she calls her business Squid Farts. So if you're in the market for a George head, go check out Squid Farts. She also has Ted Danson and Galen from Creep Show.
That's Eric Gamancha's wife.
Yeah, she made this crate here.
You know these folks, Matt? Yeah, I know Eric. His wife is the person behind Squid Farts. They actually they lived in Monroeville. They just moved to Arizona.
Yeah. But yeah, Squid Farts, she was real great to me.
I hate to be. What was the price range on that head?
$50.
Well, that's not bad.
$50. Okay. I paid for that, painted and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great.
Reasonable. I mean, if it's painted, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because I imagine what it'll look like once I've painted it.
Gotta have the old tape, you know. Gotta have the old OG tape with some cockroaches crawling off the top of it.
Nice clamshell.
Yeah.
You seem to have a gangster lean towards creep show.
By a certain somebody.
Well, let's mention him.
Yeah, Mr. Chris. Wherever he is. I don't know if he's listening. Giving you a plug, buddy.
Yeah, I think everyone on the line has.
That Night of the
We've
Living
all
Dead
got an official Stavrakis or two in our homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one's.
I got like a whole shelf of Stavrakis. Yep. Nice Raoul.
Uh-huh.
I had John sign that for me.
Nice.
Weren't those figures kind of expensive?
We got animation sale from Creepshow 2 back there. I think you can see. I got the Creepshow TV series number 0 for the TV show. It's signed by Greg.
Mm-hmm.
That's currently showing on AMC now. I think Monday nights.
Yeah, Mondays on AMC, unless you already got Shudder. All right. This is a custom piece. This is really, 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 really cool, guys.
That's fucking badass.
Mr.
That's
Jordan
sweet.
his brains out. I took this with me up to Monroeville last year, and I had everybody that worked on the scene sign it for me too. So I got Michael and Tom and Daryl and Tom. They all signed it. They all signed that thing. But I mean, look, it's got I don't know if you can really see in the details here, but like, look, there's an ashtray here. Like this guy was great with it. Crowbar. He's got everything in it. I mean, it's got the beer jug that he was drinking out of. Beer mug. I don't know. It's just great. That's a great piece. Great piece. Yeah, you gotta have your Iron City.
Yep, I got some of those.
You got some of the pull tops, Matt?
Yeah, I have an old school can, and then I have a newer can that's full, but the old pull top is emptied.
Empty. Did they pop it out of the bottom or whatever?
I think it was someone drank it. I'll check.
While we're talking about our good buddy Christian, I'll
Yes,
figure out
sir.
this guy out. Everybody can see that.
All right. Oh,
And
nice.
I think it was also done with a guy named Brian. I'm starting his last name.
His partner.
McGuire?
Mm.
Brian
I should know
McGuire.
this.
Yeah, Brian McGuire.
But yeah, I had John, Russ, and Gary sign the thing. And it's numero uno. Numero uno.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling out everything because I got to let you have me back as a second guest, right?
That's right. No, I lied. My
I think
original
we'd be here
is like a mug made from some sort of cup. I don't know. It was a gift years ago.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
This is the only Carl Hardman autograph I have. I got this from Russo. This is an old check here. If you guys can see it.
Oh yeah, on the check.
Old check, and he signed the back.
That was
Endorsement.
I think this is
the
from
check?
Generation because it's got Bob Machuli's signature on it too.
Yeah, from '93, so probably from something at the Zombie Jamboree.
I've seen quite a few of those floating around.
Yeah,
But that's cool as hell, bro.
you're a little weird here.
The zombie cassette.
I got it signed by Claudio.
Those are kind of pricey, aren't they?
Claudio and Goblin Man. Like every time they come around, I just take so much stuff. I got gobs and gobs and goobs and gobs of stuff that they have signed for.
You have Gobs of Goblin, huh?
Gobs of Goblin. Our good friend Mr. Larry was down in Spooky Empire, and he was going to meet up with Marilyn Eastman. He was telling me what he was doing. Dude, I'm going to see Marilyn Eastman in Florida. And I said, do me a favor. And I said, stop at this location. Where are you at? And he told me where he was. I sent him he's like, I got no time to do anything. I got to get there as quick as I can. I sent him a ping for a hardware store, and I said, stop, get us a trail. So he stopped and got us a trail.
Fucking A, dude.
I got a Marilyn Eastman trail.
Nice.
signed by her, which made me happy. I'm gonna save some of that stuff.
I like the way you think, Daniel.
Yeah, I can't spoil and show you everything. I'm not sure who sculpted this. Maybe y'all can tell me. I got it from Lenny.
Shoot,
I forget who Lenny had. Lenny's had them for years. I can't remember who did them for him, but yeah, he's had.
Are those not the Greek? Isn't that one of the Greeks' fridge magnets?
Maybe Chris did. Yeah, maybe because I know
Lenny's
had them for 20 years.
Remember, he had that little set of 4, and I want to say Lenny was one of them.
Yeah, that could be. I remember Lenny having them forever and a day.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep all that aside for now. All right, now we'll play with some other stuff. I saw you repping that the other day, so I had to.
Yes, sir.
So many awesome pictures in that set.
I meant to ask you, Daniel, when did you get into lasers?
I've always a media collector, baby. All right, let's show some interesting old stuff I got. These came off of. I got these off of a lot that a guy was selling on. It might have been Etsy when I first discovered Etsy, or maybe it was eBay a long time ago. I can't remember. I've had these for a while. This is some old clippings here. This was a front page of the entertainment for Creep Show back when it first came out. Neat little piece there.
The janitor that gets his arm killed in Creep Show. He's from my hometown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from a little teeny tiny town in central PA. He's from. So I love that connection to Creep Show.
Yeah, these are a bunch of little clippings that I got from him.
I like that.
Yeah, when Creep Show was first good. Some steals and some theatrical listings, and I think this is really neat. It's an article, a little article about Joe Hill being in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where did you score this from, Daniel?
I think it was somebody on Etsy or eBay. It was weird. It came with a bunch of Romero stuff, a bunch of Sigourney Weaver stuff, a bunch of Karen Black clippings, and a bunch of random, like some Evil Dead, Exorcist, and the thing. But I saw that he had, Romero stuff in it, so I jumped on it. I guess I got to talk. Some people are shitting on the Creep Show TV show. And I just want to say, fuck y'all if you're shitting on the show. I mean, if there's a Creep Show TV show, I mean, why are you going to shit on the fact that there's a Creep Show TV show? And if you look into it, knowing that they had no money, they made it with no money. And I think they film each segment in like 2.5, 3 days is all the time they have to film each one of them. So the fact that Greg's doing it, they brought John on, they brought Tom on. I mean, it just eat shit if you're not giving a shit. And I like the other day, we didn't even watch it, but I turned it on AMC Monday just so that AMC would get the numbers to see that we watched it. Just gotta support when you can, right?
Hell yeah.
This is from a guy named James Howard. James Howard has been a collector and maker of stuff for a while, and he's got all kinds of stuff if y'all look him up. James Howard. I think there's also a composer named James Howard. Anyway, I did a trade with him recently, and I had a whole bunch of Evans City dirt, and he needed some Evans City dirt. So I traded him a bunch of Evans City dirt, and he sent me a bunch of little pieces. And actually, he sent me an old glass piece from the chapel. That's all in there, a bunch of other stuff. But I thought this is really what I wanted. This is actually from my favorite segment from the new Creep Show TV show, Night of the Paul.
Nice.
Night of the Paul. So he's made a little replica of the box. Nice. I wanted to show that off. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So Dan, I take it you recommend the series?
Come on, man. If you don't like it, I mean, are they all winners? No. You know what I mean? Are they all winners? No. But just support it, the fact that it exists. So that's why I'm going to say yes, support it.
I like your spirit.
Yep. Oh, I got one for you. I thought of, because I thought of you, Blasey. Because I know your love for your favorite remake of all time, Dawn.
Woo!
Your favorite.
Right? Dan, you're fading out. Dan, you're fading out.
I'm gonna bring you up some positive about that remake. All right, because I have I don't know I don't even know if I want to say out loud what my thoughts on that movie are. It's an action movie. I'll leave it at that. It's not Dawn of the Dead.
I'm outnumbered tonight.
Give it a different title. Give it a different title. Yeah.
2 on 1. Y'all are doing good.
Give it a different title.
Well, I mean, two of us are right.
Here's what I noticed was back before the remake came out. I'm gonna say and guess and assume that maybe because the remake getting a whole lot of attention again, we got a surge in memorabilia. Back in those times, we got the NECA figures. And I'd go to Hot Topic, the toys would be there. There were shirts there. There were belts and all kinds of weird stuff that they had back what I'm talking about. So I'll say that much about the remake, that it might have just brought us a little bit more, little more fun things to play with.
So speaking of Hot Topic, I bought a couple of the Dawn shirts that were there, and I still have one unworn with the tag on it. It's still one of my absolute most favorite comfortable shirts. I have one that I wear upstairs, but I have the one down here that still has the tag and stuff on it. Yeah.
There's a picture of me wearing that in college. I was wearing that shirt in a kilt at a huge party, and there's like 50 women around me. I need to see if I can dig up that shirt.
That was, I'll agree with you. The only positive that came out of the Dawn remake is we got a lot more memorabilia for the original than we probably would have had that movie not come out.
I don't think it hurt. I don't think it hurt Land's coming out either.
No, it didn't hurt Land coming out either, but the unintended consequence was we got more original Dawn stuff than we had been ever expecting.
Well, yeah, you're right. Right about that time was the box set. The DVD box set came out. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of activity on the property at that time. Hey, that is an amazing map, dude.
Oh, I like that smaller one. I have the big one.
What's that? What, Matt?
The map of the mall he has. I have the full size version on my wall over here, but I don't have the small 8.5 by 11 size.
Oh, you have my art on your wall.
I got y'all to see that letter.
What was that, Daniel?
I was still talking around on the internet. Department of
He might have his headphones plugged in. Because I can't.
We can't hear you, Daniel.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got his headphones plugged in.
Boo!
All right, there we go.
There.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? All right, yeah. The letter up here, I got. God, I can't get a good picture of it with this laptop. No.
The letter.
Anyway, it's from the Department of Defense. Here.
Uh-huh.
Here, I'll have to send you a picture of it, but it is. Here's what it says. From Laurel Take Group Incorporated. Dear Mr. Barch, enclosed is a list of the specific assistance we are requesting from the pit shooting of Dawn of the Dead. It was them asking for permission to get the National Guard to show up for that scene. I actually emailed the Department of Defense to try to get them to send me this letter. I was going to see if I could buy the original letter from them, but they can't. They can say that, and they can sell me a print of the original script that George sent with them asking for permission, but they want $250 for it, and I just haven't, to have a copy of the script I didn't want, but I'm very curious to know what script George sent the National Guard. Mm-hmm. That'd be something neat to know. I got a part of that's a signed. It's signed by George.
That picture. I don't have enough room that picture of George looks a lot like John Carpenter.
That's John. Yeah, I wrote him a letter, and he wrote me that way. Yeah, that big box up there is from Fright Rags. I think they only made 500 of those when that.
Yeah, I got one of those boxes as well.
Yeah, it came with the mine
rocks, the T-shirt, and the sticker and stuff. Yeah, I still have my box.
This is Michael Landra.
Yep, I have that print. I think I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, mine's floating around here somewhere.
You going upstairs? No.
That's a Spanish. This is Spanish. I'm not. We're to save just the basement today. I'm not going to show you the whole shebang. I got Claudio to sign that Spanish card, and I got. It's an old personal one I had. I think I got Judith and a couple other people on that.
I've got a full size Spanish one sheet. I've been meaning to get on the wall.
Yeah, I'm not going to show those today. I'm not showing my big foreign stuff today. I will show you these though. These are what I was hoping to get signed while we were up there.
Nice.
It's a newspaper I actually had George sign. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of people on that, and I have a
Oh, that's cool, man.
Very nice.
Video poster.
That's not. That's like a
Because they have
kind of like
George's
a
signature.
8L size video poster, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a. That's not original. The
Oh, it's
VHS
not, okay.
is not an original.
That's an oddball
Yeah,
size.
that was an Amazon purchase. Yeah, that was an Amazon purchase. All right, the lay of the land out here real quick, so y'all can just see our little man cave.
Cool.
See the little man cave. I haven't been buying a lot here lately, but this is the most recent thing I got.
Well, you have two very good reasons as to why you shouldn't be buying anything right now.
Huh?
I said you have two very good reasons why you shouldn't be buying anything.
Yeah. They're coming home tomorrow. My twins are coming home tomorrow.
Love it.
This is the last one who but I've been wanting that damn poster for forever.
Yeah, that one's high on my list too.
eBay. Yeah, they've been popping up all over the place here lately. I got a bunch of just old videotapes from every damn thing. A bunch of books in there. Oh, did y'all read this? I wanted to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back in the day. Back in the day, I did.
I don't know if I'd heard y'all's opinion on that or not.
It needs a reread for me to give any sort of opinion on it. Maybe we'll do that for a future one. Yeah, I got my eye on that one too. I've been meaning to pick that up.
I'll just show you that.
What was that, Daniel?
That was a Japanese program.
I got a French one and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, I got Land Diary Survival, Bruiser, a couple of the Japanese stuff. There's a vendor at Monster Mania who has like 3 tables worth of Japanese movie programs, and I keep meaning to pick up his Dawn one, and I just never do.
I don't think you can see all the signatures on this. I'm just doing quick scans. I can go into details with some of all this stuff later. I'm just kind of letting everybody kind of get a bird's eye view of just some of it. We can detail some of it later. I love old videotapes, man. I don't care what anybody says. I've had the same one since I was a kid. And I love Godzilla. All right. There are some of my paintings. Nurses, that's the premiere of the Nurse Zombie.
Nice.
That's Sharon's premiere, but yeah, I got a Dr. Tongue from that's 10 years ago. That's a 10-year-old thing. My wife would have to tell us who the artist is who did these family portraits for us. But these are, I had them do it like Creep Show. So me, my wife, and my son, would you see the little Creep Show kind of backgrounds?
That's cool. Was that local?
I think he's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. But yeah, that's Walking Dead, obviously. I had them sign that, and we got Bub sign that. I got
that's paint.
Walking Dead thing there. Huh? That's paint, yeah. It's all paint. I don't even know what kind of
That's your pens, your enamels.
Yeah, dude. There's so many artists I could call out in here, but like a lot of you guys, I'm sorry I can't remember your names and whatnot, but I got most of the Romero ones on there. That bottom one is Joe Pilato. That's new. That's from Fright Rags.
Oh yeah, the sliding one. I got to.
Oh yeah, that is
I just wanted to
sweet.
throw those off in case there were some pen collectors. If you message me, I might be able. There's one in particular that you're like, holy shit, what is that? And maybe I can find out where the card is and who did it. Got a
Taiwan, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Some Evil Dead. Oh, I'll show you my Evil Dead.
Is that legit?
Not quite Romero related. That's that sign because that was one of my first shows ever that I got that sign because I got the Ladies of the Evil Dead to sign that. This is the little diorama I made here from Evil Dead. I'm not going to show you my record collection, but I have a lot of records and a lot of signed records. Plug for Living Dead Museum. Get your pieces right there. Plug for Living Dead Museum. Support local businesses. Help Kevin and them out right now, y'all. Go buy some cabin pieces if you're an Evil Dead fan. And a couple things down there too. I got a German one. I had Claudio sign it for no reason.
He was there.
I wish I knew more about this, but a friend of mine was in Florida and knows I'm another vendor. Damn it. They can't really get a good look at it. It's just a mall map, man. Somebody drew it with a pencil. And that's all I know about it. And it says Monroeville. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, these are all signed here. This is signed by the band Morricone Youth. They did like their own version of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah, I saw Goblin like 2 nights before you did, Daniel.
Oh yeah. Oh, these are those checks y'all were asking me about the other day.
Yeah. Now I like the way you presented those.
Rubenstein and yeah. I got a couple more in a notebook. And I gotta have Iron City Clock, baby. And this is a reprint that I got done a long time ago. I actually bought this poster from Ken's table.
Oh my God, he's had those for years.
Yeah. This was...
Shit, Matt, you probably ran down to CVS a couple of times for him to grab those.
I've gone and gotten 8x10s printed for him over the years. Yep.
Some of the Blu-rays and physical media.
A lot of Scream. Love it.
Yeah.
A lot of Arrow.
A little Annabelle. Yeah. I actually had Charles Band sign every one of those Blu-rays. That's the only reason I bought it. He was like, I'll sign it if you buy it. I was like, if you sign every one of them, I'll buy it. And he went, okay.
Nice. I love the VHS2 Blu-ray down there. I love that.
Oh, yeah, man. That's beside Creepshow. That's my favorite anthology film.
Yeah, Eduardo Sanchez has a nice zombie segment in there. Yeah, I got a couple of friends that played extras in that one. Yeah, I love that. I love that one a lot.
Hang on, my wife's yelling at me. Yep. Who did the Creepshow paintings of us, Courtney? Hey, y'all, here's my wife. Say hey.
Hey.
I'm at the top of the steps. Which one?
What's the artist's name that did the portraits of us as the Creepshow people?
Chroma. Hold on, I can look him up. But
okay. Just yell me his name so I can.
Once we have once the twins get a little older, we'll get them.
Yeah. Here's some. Oh, this is a neat piece here. This is a drawing that John Ampla's son did.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was there at his table when his son was sitting with him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'll buy that off of you." And he was like, "Sure." I got a Japanese program from Creepshow.
Is that Japanese program the one that flips over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had that one too.
And I have this vinyl that actually had George.
Waxworks.
Yeah, it actually has George's signature on it. I got him to sign that before he passed. And this is Etsy list, but that's from the Fright Rags thing. That's an original painting that he did from that, and a bunch of little postcards and stuff. There's us somewhere. Hang on, yeah.
W. Andrew Shepard.
W. Andrew Shepard is the person who did our Creepshow paintings. W. Andrew Shepard.
W. Andrew Shepard.
Yeah, W. Andrew Shepard. I'm in a notebook right now, collectibles. Once again, I ain't gonna show everything, but I'll show off a little bit.
Nice. Did you mail them? Did you see them or mail it to them?
This is a funny one. Mail. That was mail a long time ago. This is hilarious. So I wonder if I haven't been looking at any of the comments anybody's been saying to me, if anybody's talking to us.
Somebody said, "Hey, Courtney."
That's Martha.
Is this more valuable now that it has somebody's signature on it, or is it less valuable?
Burn it. Burn it. Whoever scribbled on it, they're not worth it.
It maintained its value of 0.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, man. I am glad to have that. Sorry for the glare.
You've mentioned Joe Pilato probably 3 or 4 times tonight, and this is the first time I'm actually thinking of him.
I didn't
in
get to
Pat-
meet him. I didn't get to meet him. Yep.
You're gonna have to read that one to me.
Some telephone
Michael
company.
and Vincent, it's, yeah, Waldron's telephone answering service. May 1979. Nobody signed it back. But it's got Vincent and Michael Gornick's signature on that one. Did get that signed by Charles Craig.
Well, that was the program, right?
Yeah, I got a couple Flyboys, and that's a good one. Bill.
Yeah, I got that one. That's always a nice one.
Yeah, that's why you go to Living Dead Weekend. You can do shit like that, guys. You know what I'm saying? If you're in here watching us and you haven't been, I mean, come on now. All right, this is a UK newsprint, like a clipping from the newspaper.
Oh, that was legit. That's not like a rescan.
That's a funny autograph. Yeah, that's legit. And this is funny. This is a picture from Day, and made it to my wife. Courtney, cut this shit out. Actually got that off eBay after he had passed. All right, I'll show these off. All right, so Larry and I, how do I get? I love Larry. Larry and we're great buddies. Larry lives in South Carolina. I live in North Carolina. So if there's ever something going on, he and I always try to get together and hang out and meet up. And every time I see something on eBay, you know, because we both know that we both look at the eBay kind of on the regular, looking for certain stuff, you know. So he and I like to get in little wars and send little teases here and there. You know, it'll be like 5 minutes before something's getting ready to, you know, start ending. And I'll send him a message being like, hey, are you bidding on this fucking thing that I'm looking at this ending in 5 minutes? Or yeah. Like,
that was mistake number one, Daniel.
But anyway, yeah. Oh, and I don't tell him what it is. What the one funny one is, the fucker beat me to a trowel that was signed by like everybody, but the guy had listed the trowel as like a Chris Angel trowel, but it was a trowel with Kyra's face on it. So I was hoping nobody else had noticed it. And he and I were just messaging each other back and forth one time, and I was like, so I'm gonna bid on something, but it's been mislabeled, and I'm not gonna tell you what it is. And he was like, well, me too. And I was like, oh, you bitch. So he had found it too. Anyway, he has a bunch of other these, but I did manage to get two when we were bidding on them. These are release forms that are from Creepshow for the use of radio. And I have Hal Hall.
Nice.
Awesome.
And Ted Danson's original document. So that's Hal's. And this is Ted's. But that's just a
nice, bro.
I just thought that was really neat. That was really neat. The guys, honestly, with this collecting shit, I have so much stuff I could show off. Like I really don't even know. Like I really don't even know where to begin.
But you got me inspired to show something now. Hang on.
Boxes and damn boxes of shit. Matt, what's your grail?
The
house is on fire. If the house is on fire, you can get one thing.
Oh, if I can get one
You
thing,
can grab one thing and pull it out of the house.
let me reach over because I'm within arm's reach. Just because I have so many stories attached to it, but this original Dawn script that I've been working on for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
Got George and everybody on it, you know, lots of principal cast and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably grab this. It's one of the first things I bought when I got into this years ago, and you know, either that or you know, I got George's director's chair from Bruiser right behind me. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's
you know, it's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, there's so many memories tied into this stuff, but it's, I can look and I can tell you where I got each signature and, a lot about those conversations. That would probably be what I would grab. If not this big ass piece of paneling behind me or it'd be hard to tell, in a panic, I probably wouldn't grab anything. As long as I can make it out with the family, everything else is secondary.
Yeah, this is something we need to strategize on because size matters. I mean, you could grab 5 small items or 1 big item. I mean, we need to. This is something we need to be thinking about and get a game plan going on.
Yeah, maybe that Peter Stormare Bruiser crystal piece. That was a couple of years in the hunt. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying that, I was looking. I mean, there's some bulkier items that I may just angle towards grabbing maybe a duffel bag full of smaller stuff. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that never happens, but it's on my mind now.
Yeah.
Well, we had a hurricane come through a couple years ago, and we had plenty of advance warning. But I mean, I had like carloads of stuff up in my office. And even at the office, I was like putting it on top of file cabinets, so just in case there was floods, I mean, I literally
one
made
scary thing. I got the basement down here, and some of this shit's in the basement. That I'm being a little brave in that department. But there's a lot of other stuff. I got a lot of phone posters that I've had signed. The big like Italian manifesto. I don't know what the hell you call it. There's 4 Fogli and 2. I don't even know all that shit. There's a guy named Kyle Severin. He's a fan of Living Dead Weekend. He can tell you all that. He's got one of the biggest poster collections I know of any damn body. But he's got shit from God. I know he's got a signed 2 Evil Eyes poster, an original like Italian 2 Evil Eyes. It's huge that he had George sign. You know what? Speaking of 2 Evil Eyes, that movie does not. I don't care about. That Knight Riders, that's my 2 least. Those are the most underrated Romero films. I love 2 Evil Eyes.
Most underrated.
I love 2 Evil Eyes. I love 2 Evil Eyes.
Well, you'll be interested in a topic that we're going to debut right after this, but we'll get there.
Okay.
I mean, I think me, considering the crowd that's on the video and listening, I mean, I think there's probably we all have a little bit of appreciation for every last one of his projects, regardless of what it is. Even stuff that we don't like, we probably appreciate it more than your average person just watching it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of, when we have those kind of discussions, I don't know, it's an outsider. It would almost seem like they might like a property more than we do, but we're paying it more attention. And I don't know. We celebrate his whole career.
Yeah.
Matt, did you have something you wanted to?
I'm trying to look at it lately.
You've been showing your scripts. I don't know if you've been you were showing some scripts earlier.
Yeah, so I love scripts. I think it's cool. So the last Living Dead weekend, I picked up this Monkey Shines production script, and it's really neat because it is it's a production script, so it's got all the notes. Scene listings, lots of little like shot lists, it's showing you who's shooting and when. It's got like a bunch of the tabs to kind of go through. So it's, it tells you like the breakdown of, who's on what day. I don't know. I think scripts are one of the more underrated collectibles just because I think they really can tell a story of the production, who was shooting what and when, and what makes it into the final film, and see where the ad libs were. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm gonna fly my Bruiser flag, but this is Jeff Monahan's script from Bruiser that I got from him a couple years ago, and signed by George, Tina Romero, Jeff, Chris Romero, and Tom Atkins. And yeah, I can't love Bruiser enough. And it's got different pages for the different rewrites, or different color pages. A lot of handwritten notes by Jeff. So, yeah, scripts are one of my more understated fun collectibles. Just because I just think that this is where the story comes from that we watch on screen, and this is the skeleton, the meat and bones. So, yeah, scripts will always be.
I don't know about y'all. I've read a lot of scripts that sound great on paper, and then the movie just makes it shit.
Well, that goes to the technical prowess
Not
of a
just saying
director.
Romero, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah,
general.
I mean, a good director can make a bad script good, and a good, a bad director can make a good script bad. So you kind of have to really read the script and kind of see what the film is, what they're trying to say on paper and whether or not they can bring it to screen. And some people can do it and some people can't.
Hey, Matt, I'm surprised.
I'm real picky with my horror. I think The Autopsy of Jane Doe is the best horror movie that's been made in the last 10 years. I love that, and I like Hereditary. I like slow burner stuff as long as if I can get into the characters and it's worth it. I like horror movies where the cast is mainly older people. I'm not big on like the teenage stuff. I don't know. What Lies Beneath is an underrated film too.
Oh, I love What Lies Beneath. God, do I love that movie. God, that's where my Michelle Pfeiffer crush came in. Older Michelle Pfeiffer is my favorite.
Yeah, that's one a lot of people.
What were you saying, Eric?
Well, I remember at the June event you were waffling a little bit. I mean, I know you had intent to purchase a script, but I didn't realize really until right now how much you were into them. So I'm surprised you were, didn't just jump right on them.
I was debating how much do I want to spend now and how much do I want to walk away with and feel good about myself with. So I know there's
you say you used your Sunday money.
I used my Sunday money. That was a Sunday money purchase. Yeah, there's a few out there. I like when I go through the scripts, I like the different drafts. I want to see if I can pick out what was left out and whatnot. And I got probably 12 to 18 inches worth of script sitting right to my left. Dark Half, Creepshow, Dawn, Bruiser. I don't know. I just think they're fun. I think scripts they're just fun because you get to see, okay, this was the reason we got the movie we got, and see how much changes from script to screen, because that you can kind of see where the director kind of took their vision and said, okay, this scene here does this and it says this. Well, I feel this is what we need to do, and they film it slightly different. But yeah, no, I love scripts. They're one of my favorites.
I ran and grabbed a couple things because one of the items that Daniel had shown reminded me of something I have, and this is it's a canceled contract for the Crazies.
I love this shit, by the way. I can't
believe I forgot his name. It's got Roger McGovern's signature. He was the nightgown zombie from Night of the Living Dead. And I'm covering up his social security number, by the way. And I got A.T. Croft, a producer that worked with George on the Crazies, and I think on season as well. But he wasn't able to play his role, so they had to cancel. He was going to play Cooper, I think the military commander Cooper. This is also the same guy that played Ray Lane's dad in Vanilla, the guy who couldn't cut the mustard. So, anywho, yeah, and I'm not going to even explain where I got this from, but a very rare Roger McGovern signature. And I've got something else that I mailed away for. Unfortunately, this gentleman is no longer with us, but this is a signature from Larry Vera.
Oh, nice.
I sent him a letter, and then the interview's on our YouTube page. But he basically sent my letter back and wrote a letter on it. So I've got his, and signed it again. So not much out there on Larry Vera, so that's really cool. I think I want to say Marcus and those guys from Germany actually met him back in '03. Spent some time.
Oh yeah, I want to say they did.
But it was in the mid. Here, I got one more. Well, this is not terribly rare, but I had to do this one through the mail, and this guy doesn't do appearances anymore. But I've got a few of these. I got a Wooly signature.
Nice.
And he actually,
Willie.
oh my goodness, look, we got company.
Hey, buddy.
This is his last night being by himself before his two sisters come home.
You're gonna be a good big brother, buddy.
Well, but he's been with Dad all day. Daddy wore me out all day today. Didn't we?
Yeah, he still looks tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, wore his butt out. Yeah, Atticus had a fun time. Atticus came with me to Living Dead Weekend in Monroeville when he was 3 months old.
Yep.
So there's lots of cool pictures and stories from him. You know, hopefully one day he can carry a cool story.
He's gonna be pushing you in the wheelchair one day if you keep coming.
Matt, you said Tom had a bunch of what recently?
Mark had asked about the Savini poster books, or the poster books for Dawn that have kind of flooded in. Yeah, Tom used to come with a stack of them, and it was like $20 signed. You get a poster book, and I got mine in 1999 at the Monster Bash in Monroeville, the first convention I ever went to.
I actually don't have one. That's one of the very few things I don't have. I think most people should have.
I think he still has some. I think they've gotten more rare over the last 10, 15 years because
I see them around. They're still out there. They must have made a billion of them.
Well, and you know what's funny is like when you look on the cover, it's $1.95 or whatever it is. I'm like, God, to have seen that on the freaking newsstand and picked one up. But you know, to get it, you know, with the Tom signature, like I said, I got it for like $20. You know, back in the day, you know, it was really.
Who did the artwork on the little collage on the back? It's like a painting.
This guy. Oh no, the collage. I don't know.
Yeah, the painting. Yeah, the painting.
Oh man, I think mine's in a frame, so I don't know.
I think I saw Daz had a poster that somebody had.
It's on the. I think the name's at the bottom of the painting.
But yeah, that's gorgeous art.
You know what? We can ask Peter at the archive.
We need to get Peter on, man. Peter's a big influence on what I do with my drawing. I mean, his art, man, that's awesome.
Hell yeah! No, he does a great job.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we're going to settle down the collection for this evening. We're going to save something for future exhibition, especially me and Matt. Let's see, but we did have another topic I did want to talk about before we got out of here, and it's something we're going to bring to the Facebook page before too long, and it is what's that?
The drone footage. I forgot to mention I do all the drone footage.
Yeah.
The drone pictures from all the events. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one of these days you'll come with us to a location.
Oh yeah, I am. That's what I was going to tell you. I got to do a truck stop.
That's right, man. We need some overheads at a couple of these places, so we'll have to. I mean, you already know we're going, so you just got to come too.
Yep.
But we're going to roll out. Not exactly sure. We'll roll it out in steps, but we're going to be doing the WGON Radio George A. Romero Film Tournament bracket, and. And I've actually got this bracket. It is seeded, and we're going to be rolling out one matchup at a time with polls. And there's a special caveat: you're not allowed to vote unless what, Matt?
Unless you have seen the films that you are voting for. So if you have not seen Two Evil Eyes, and Two Evil Eyes is going up against another George film, you must watch Two Evil Eyes to vote.
That's right.
So this is a good way to finally have some people sit down and go through George's catalog of his feature films and vote on them in a head-to-head competition in a NCAA basketball bracket style tournament. I had said to Eric, I said, make one thing I want people to do is to vote, not just because your favorite George Romero film is going up against one you might have only seen 2 times. Really sit back and watch each film based on its own merits. What did George set out to do? What did he accomplish? What is the overall lasting impression of this movie? And really give it a good hard look. So as Eric kind of zooms in here, you can see we have a bracket of 16. And so
they're seated 1 through 4 in each bracket, and that, not everybody's going to agree with every ranking, and I don't even agree with the rankings, but I did it in such a way to where, if you don't agree with it, you can vote for the movie and have it maybe advance beyond something that you think it's better than. But also seating them 1 through 4, there's it kind of puts everything in a ballpark, so it's not.
I mean, think about it. 1 through the number 1 seeds are pretty much the 4 George Romero movies that people talk about the most. So I mean, they're very deserving of that 4 seed, and I would say the number 1 seed. I would say even the 4 seeds probably, are the films that people have seen the least, and
possibly.
Some of these, when you look at, Night Riders in the Dark Half, Season of the Witch and Monkey Shines, a lot of these films take place over 2 different eras of George's filmmaking. So it would have been really unfair to seat Dawn and Day as a 1 and 2 seed or a 1 and 4 seed in the same bracket, because
correct, yeah,
it would skew the results. And what we're looking to do is have a little fun with this and really get you thinking. When you watch There's Always Vanilla versus Day of the Dead, watch There's Always Vanilla. Give it a critical
look. Oh, that's
look.
true. I haven't thought about that.
yeah. When you're making the brackets, it's very different than when you sent it to me and I was like, did he really put There's Always Vanilla versus Day of the Dead? Like, this is going to be a very interesting first round. So I think what we're probably going to end up doing is taking, I want to call them like regions, north, south, east, and west.
Yeah.
You take like the north region. We'll go north region, Night of the Living Dead versus Two Evil Eyes. Bruiser versus Land of the Dead.
That's a great matchup, man.
Bruiser and Land of the Dead. I'm gonna have a tough time on that. I kind of know where I'm already leaning on an emotional level.
I know where you're leaning.
But I don't know. You might be surprised. But I think what we're looking to do is to take a region and sit down over these next couple of live traffic reports and kind of give our back and forth. And put a poll up on the page, on the WGON page. Don't vote just because the movie is your favorite, because your favorite Romero film might not be one of the best.
Or just or at least don't vote against a film that you don't know you can't know it's better unless you've seen the other film.
Yes,
basically.
And there are, I think, almost all of the ones on here are streaming somewhere, whether it's Amazon, Tubi, Shudder.
Yep.
And if not, guys, they're super cheap. DVD, VHS on Amazon or eBay. Pick them up. It's a small investment, and especially if you haven't seen it, now's the time to watch some of these films, because I know a lot of our podcasts lately, we've been focusing on a lot of the Dark Half, Monkey Shine, Two Evil Eyes era, only because we understand that a lot of you haven't watched these films, or you might not have seen them in 10 years, if not longer. Go back and revisit them. They're not the most celebrated, but they're still George. And there's still a lot of fun parts of these movies that haven't been talked about. And I think this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out based on, our own personal feelings. And, I'm kind of filling the bracket in my head. I'm like, okay, I know how this one's going to go, but then how's the next round going to go?
Well, what's another, the Crazies could end up being a bit of a dark horse. I like that Crazies Martin matchup. I'm interested to see what happens there.
I think there's a lot of people that love Martin but then there's another sect of people that really, really love the Crazies. And when you put them up against each other, I think there's going to be one or two upsets after the first round that are going to be very, very surprising. I know there's one or two brackets that I'm really interested in seeing. And one, it's the Knight Riders Dark Half.
Yes,
that's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, Season of the Witch and Monkey Shines are probably two films that I can guarantee you a lot of people have only seen once. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. You're right.
And then Bruiser Land of the Dead. Talk about two movies that I have such a tie to. I kind of have a feeling you skewed the seating on those for my own anxiety reasons, and I might have to spew on those for a little bit because, how do I pick between Bruiser and Land of the Dead?
Yeah, Daniel, what do you make of all this?
I want to. Jace Whitman says I want to find Omar and send this to him.
Omar's head explodes.
Oh yeah, he got me. Good job, Jace. Jace is an artist too, man. He's good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm a fan, sir.
Multimedia, the instruments and the canvas, perhaps elsewhere. Just jumping on some. R. Mahoney was that artist.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, for the poster book. Let's see.
Yeah,
got some Day of the Dead love in here. Yeah,
Day of the Dead is going to get a lot of love, but I mean, I know your affinity for There's Always Vanilla versus Day of the Dead. So it's some of these seedings are very interesting. When you look at some of them, Diary and Creepshow, it's like I can imagine how this bracket will turn out for most people. But again, when you sit and you watch something like the Martin and the Crazies, really look at it. Give it an objective view. Like if you had to grade them, and don't go in thinking, oh, I love this movie, I haven't seen this one. If you watch, the films you haven't watched a lot with as little emotion as possible and say, I really want to go in and see what George was going for. Look at, the lasting impression. Remember, they remade the Crazies. They haven't remade Martin.
So the Crazies is better.
I'm not saying the Crazies is better, but I'm just saying, think about some of these films. It's going to be interesting. I mean, this is going to be a hot topic. This might cause some divorces or friendships to end.
That's
depending
right.
on how you vote.
That's right.
But you threw up Dawn and Survival. I mean, I swear, two of these brackets, you were just like, how can I screw with Matt the most? And you're going to make me choose between Dawn and Survival.
I mean, I put them into. I gave them all. I assigned them all seeds of 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then just kind of as I went down the list, just kind of scattered them around. That's just the way it worked out. Now I like the bracket. I mean, honestly, I don't think I'd change a thing. Knight Riders fans, and yeah, there's some intriguing matchups. I mean, really, let's get real. Night of the Living Dead versus Two Evil Eyes, and then Dawn versus Survival. I mean, this, you know what I mean? We already know what's going to happen there, but all the rest of them.
Again, there's some wild cards.
If Vanilla gets 2 votes, I mean, that's interesting.
I mean, think of it this way: Vanilla was a film that George. Let me think of how to say this. The Day of the Dead we got wasn't the Day of the Dead that George wanted to make. There's Always Vanilla was basically that was the film. There wasn't a lot of change, in the scripting. Season of the Witch and Monkey Shines. I'm very interested to see that bracket. The Bruiser and the Land of the Dead one are probably the two that I'm most interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're, Bruiser and Land of the Dead are very close with when they were made. But Season of the Witch and Monkey Shine's got a good 15 years between them. And, two very different types of films. So I'm very, very excited for this.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Season of the Witch versus Monkey Shines. That's two. There's going to probably be a couple of folks that hasn't seen either one of them. So hopefully, that's the point. Hopefully, really, we challenge people. We guilt trip people into finally watching some of this stuff. So it's worth watching.
Dan, is there any film on here that you've only seen once?
Hang on. Actually, I've only watched There's Always Vanilla once.
Do you have the box set from Arrow?
Just There's Always Vanilla. No, I don't have. I just got the crazies from the set.
Well, Vanilla is on Tubi.
Yeah.
Vanilla's one of the ones on Tubi. I think that whole box set's on Tubi.
Yeah, I watched Night of the Living Steelers the other day.
Mm.
It was on YouTube. It popped up on my recommended list, and I realized I hadn't watched it, so I watched that.
It's on YouTube?
It was a good watch. Yeah, it was a good watch.
Okay.
ESPN released it not that long ago. I think it was ESPN.
NFL Network.
Yeah, George Romero's in it, and he narrates it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for sports fans. It's a cool documentary too.
I mean, when you think of George, you think of the Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah, I really appreciate that the NFL Network did that. It was just a little bit of a reach, It was like, we just want to do something on Romero, basically.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take what I can get.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. What's 150-minute mark? Did we just cross?
Yeah, we're at the 2.5 hour mark.
We're not going to get. Oh, is he just saying we're almost as long as the extended?
I think so. I think that's what he's going for. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got friggin' studio.
Hey, Pam.
Pam, are you going to narrate our day audio play? She can't hear you.
Eric's going to narrate a audio drama.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Screaming babies. I live in the house of screaming babies. So.
Yeah, Pam does a lot of reading of stories for daycare, especially in the quarantine. She's been doing Facebook videos, so she's been reading a lot. So I think Pam will be a great addition to having a female narrator for such a dark and bleak film. I think it'll add a different level to what we're doing.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Matthew says hi, Pam.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, so we're just going over the film bracket. We're going to pick the best George Romero movie based on the WGON fan. Yeah, she probably knows what anxiety-inducing bracket. Which part of that bracket is going to cause me the most anxiety. It's all Eric's fault.
Yep.
Well, it's sure to stir up a lot of interesting conversation, and again, it's going to get somebody to watch Bruiser. So your
watch
job
Bruiser.
is, yeah.
You've seen it, Dan, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, but I went to watch Mr. I was looking for art material the other day. I wanted to draw Mr. Rogers Gets a Tonsillectomy, and I can't find it online. It used to be on YouTube a while ago, and I wish I had downloaded it. It was on there, but yeah.
Oh, it's off. You're kidding.
Yeah. So
it seemed like it was only on for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, and if anybody's got any ideas or wants to send me screen caps, please. Like I love that stuff. So yeah, anybody's got any images you want me to send, pictures you'd love to see me do or anything, yeah, please hit me up. I thought about at one point I'd talk to Ramona and a couple of the folks about maybe donating some of the art to the George Romero Foundation. I give them a shout, and maybe some to Kevin and them at the museum. Just in case there's some fans that have found me on the internet and they maybe come to the museum and see it there, and if I can help them out,
Yeah, anything that helps.
Yeah, anything.
Well, all right, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week's live traffic report. But we should be back in another couple weeks with more of, I don't know, more of what. Hopefully, we'll have more news on the rescheduled Living Dead weekend. So start making our travel plans, and we'll maybe be in the clear a little bit more from this COVID-19
Yeah, let's
situation.
hope. I know a lot of places are open up. People are getting a little antsy, and I get it. I understand, but you know what? Watch some George Romero movies. Get yourself ready for when this bracket goes live, because we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna give a little bit of analysis. We're not gonna vote ourselves on on the traffic reports, but we're gonna talk about them a little bit more in depth, and again, have a little fun with it. Who knows what's gonna happen? What Season of the Witch might come out on top. You never know.
And any of you artists out there watching, make some damn art and let me see it. I love seeing shit, man. Anything Romero related. I love seeing something new pop up.
Yeah, Dan's got some wall space left. I saw there, helping fill up his walls.
That's damn right. Well, thanks for inviting me on, guys.
No problem.
Yeah,
man.
we'll have
Thanks
to do
for
it
coming
again.
on.
We'll have to do.
No problem. Maybe next time I'll do like a live drawing or something as we're talking next time. I might do that for
Bob
you.
Ross style. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. We'll draw some happy blood here, and we'll draw a little happy zombie here. Do that.
All right. Well, thanks, Daniel, for joining us. Thanks everybody for coming out, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Bye bye.